Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
super excited. I don't have my Titan merch, but we are rocking the Team Liquid collab Naruto hoodie right here, so step in the right direction at least.
I'll have that jacket next week. But
next week.
We got an exciting matchup for you guys today. We have Group A, I believe the 2 seed TMG Death Knights facing off against the 6 seed Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, something that's really interesting to point out when we look at this Excessive Sloth team is they have a couple of players on their team with some crazy stat lines. Kush right now has the highest kills per game in the league so far at 19. Holy cow, that's an incredible number.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
No. Yeah, I would love to go back in and be a part of those games. And, that being said, I think there's some high expectations going into tonight to see what he's capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got high stats across the board. I mean, I think their jungler Blue is up there, maybe highest on the KDA list at like 13.75 KDA across their games so far. So kind of incredible that with those kind of stats, they're actually 1-1. It's TMG who's 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. The Excessive Sloth lost to Goofy Goobers, who's the other current 2-0 team. So, no, it'll be very interesting. But I think with those kind of stat lines, it'll give us a little more of a toss-up to see who should win this game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. If Excessive Sloth wins, they'll climb up, even this sort of out at 2-1 each. So fun. It's a fairly important match, and I believe our draft is ready. So let's hop on in, see what these teams got cooked up. All right, so it's the Excessive Sloth over here on the blue side, TMG Death Knights on red side. What kind of power picks are we looking at this week, Leslie?
Well, as per usual, it looks like we do have Hui and Skarner as the number 1 and 2 picks in the league still so far, very dominant. We do see that Skarner being banned out very, very early on. Looks like Excessive Sloth banning J4. That is going to be one of Homura's best jungle picks. Very high priority for them. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. B1, you take out Skarner. There's still quite a few power jungle picks. There's a couple of priority AD picks, but we have seen some crazy things in this league already, so I'm excited to see what route they take.
Yeah, we have. This is Skarner showing high prio. By the way, on the patch he was nerfed. Not nerfed enough, some might say, but nope. A lot of jungler champ pool pinching here. We're down Zyra, Skarner, J4, Nocturne. Really going at a lot of those engaged junglers.
Yeah, and there's the way. Look at that. Number 1 and 2. All right, let's see what Sloth's go here with pick number 1.
Yeah, some things never change. Skarner Hui, high win rates, right. High presence. Just get him out of there.
Syndra, looks like both mid laners, FYS and Smokey, both play Syndra. So, choosing to take that away from FYS, both in this game and for the rest of the draft.
Yeah, it's nice. And there's a heck of a pick. Mel is now legal in the Vanquisher League as of this week, and so first pick over there for the side of TMG Death Knights. Now we can see that flex mid or support. We'll have to see where it goes, paired up with a Xin Zhao now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have seen it a lot more mid. I think people underestimate the damage that she can kind of output in the combination with the passive stacks and ultimate. It's quite a bit of burst. So, we are going to see Kush getting out here, or Kush putting out on this Ezreal. So a little bit of a poke lane or a poke type comp coming together so far. It's an interesting pick going into that Xin Zhao. We do have Volibear locked in on B3 going in here.
Wow, I wonder if that's a... I'm imagining that's Volibear jungle. I know we've seen it top as well, but I feel like seeing the Xin Zhao maybe trying to pick junglers before more get banned out. And Caitlyn going to be the counter to Ezreal, picked up for Crushing Rock. Gonna have to put up a heck of a performance to beat down Kush.
Yeah, I expect we'll see some pinching here on the top laners from the side of TMG, and then Excessive Sloth. So I would imagine you want to ban out maybe some picks that Syndra struggles with. Alright, being one of those. It's nice to see out there so far. Yeah, I'll be curious to see where some of these go. If this Mel decides to go mid as an answer to the Syndra, or if it decides to go bot with Caitlyn.
Yeah, that Ahri ban from Excessive Sloth signals to me that they think that TMG is putting this Mel in the bot lane.
Agreed.
And a Wukong ban from TMG implies to me that they think Volibear might be top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how accurate some of these reads are coming out from both sides.
Yeah, it feels bad if you ban 2 mid laners only to find out that the Mel was actually intended to go to the mid lane. We got a Mundo locked in for Night Ravens in the top lane of TMG.
Yeah, funny enough, Dr. Mundo was actually the number 1 picked top laner last league. last split of Vanquisher League. So very interesting. Oh, we do have Ambessa.
Wow.
So very interesting to see where this is going to go. Traditionally top lane, although I have seen her sneak into the jungle a couple of times. So very interesting. I kind of like what I see out of Excessive Sloths. Love the flex bits. And Yorick. Ooh, that's an interesting lock-in here.
Who is support?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I guess this could be Yorick support. I really don't know. Mordekaiser are going to be the final lock-in from TMG. It looks like we have a correction here. Yorick may not be the pick. Yorick is going to be a Leona. That makes a lot more sense there. All right, and then it does seem to be a Galio instead of that Mordekaiser. So definitely an interesting lineup here from both sides. Very curious to see where this Volibear and Ambessa is going to go. And then, when in doubt, there's still some flexibility between Galio and Mel. So very curious to see where these champions go as we get into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll have to see what these picks end up doing. I'm assuming that Amumu is actually an Ambessa. But there you go. You see the comps from Excessive Sloth. The Volibear is in the jungle. Ambessa will be in the top lane. And that Mel has gone down to support the Mel Caitlyn lane. We'll see if they can sort of outrange this Ezreal Leona.
Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar to like Morgana or Lux. You know, Mel does have that root. And, you know, her Q is really hard to dodge. So,
yeah, we'll have to see if the bot lane oppression from the Mel and Caitlyn matchup is enough to get TMG Death Knights a win in this game, number 1 versus Excessive Sloth. Here we go.
All right, so we got to ask, as always, you know, we've gotten through the draft here. Who do you think came out winning here as we get out of this draft?
It's a tough one. I'm giving this one, I think, personally to Sloth over here. Excessive Sloth will see them invading 5 men on the top side. They're going to find the Chaz on the Mundo. Just going to back it off. He's got a spell shield. This shouldn't be diveable in any way. But yeah, I think I'm going with the Excessive Sloth team comp. I think they have a more cohesive game plan, right? They're kind of playing front to back. They've got a good amount of dive with Leona, Volibear, and Bessa, sort of dive buddies hanging in there. Syndra and Ezreal like to sort of stay back. My worry for TMG is that Xin Zhao is going to want to go in. I mean, I guess maybe he could play disengage, but I think that Caitlyn and Mel are going to want to try and stand back and like kite back, that kind of thing. So I think TMG's comp may be harder to execute.
Agreed. Although I do like some of it, what you see. You know, you have the Xin Zhao who can kind of hop in very aggressive, use that ultimate to dissuade a lot of the damage that we're going to see coming out of Syndra and Ezreal, followed up by that Galio ultimate. So it is going to be very interesting. I would have to agree with you. It's pretty close. Personally, I like to be different here, but I think I want to give it to TMG.
Great. No, I like that. This way, we've got stakes. We've got some skin in the game. We'll have to see. Oh, there it is. The Pro Comps draft score. Siding with me, I would like to say, on Excessive Sloth.
By a big percentage. Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, it's sort of
Leona's
always down to execution. Yeah, going in, taking a lot of damage, getting headshot by Kush. Not a good trade for Mitski.
No, very much not how you want to start.
Leona and Mel down here. I know the blade, the Leona E can get reflected, and then Mel actually dives into the Leona. So kind of an ability you don't want to W if you're Mel.
No, very interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a rough trade you're going to have into this Caitlyn lane. And, you know, something to keep in mind here that I think is very important to note is that look at the jungler pathing out of both teams here. You know, you have a pushing Caitlyn lane who wants to be putting their team under tower, wants to be abusing that range and getting those plates. And you do see that blue is actually pathing upwards away from that lane. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Kush and support handle this, you know, this pressure from Hamuro that's going to be coming up.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting choice. I would imagine you would consider pathing down and looking to dive. I mean, maybe they just didn't expect to get this much of an early advantage in the lane, but they are up a considerable amount of health and mana so far, although it seems to have been regened a bit with a couple of potions used by Mitski. But perhaps Blue is thinking maybe we can punish this Ambessa up top lane who did not take Flash.
Yeah, very interesting. Teleport and Ignite. You know, I will say credit to Kush. They have crashed that wave early and gotten it to bounce, giving themselves a little bit of extra protection here from that Volibear coming down. So very well played so far.
Yeah, it's nice coming out of it with just a CS lead, not in any danger of the Volibear gank. Volibear also no flash, sort of a flashless team over here. Same on Mundo, though, actually. We're just hating on flash in this lobby.
Yeah, Ghost definitely starting to see a little bit of more priority and pickup. Just that additional sticking power is a lot of teams are finding that a little more valuable.
Yeah, one interesting thing I want to point out in these lane phases that I think that, as we see a bit of an engage here, Leona going in, Ice Cream taken very low on the Mel, walking back into the Tri-Burst, but Ezreal low gets headshot, forced a barrier out by Kush. Reflect not going to do anything for Mel, looks like going to be a disengage at the bot side as Night Ravens taking a bit of a trade on the Chaz up in the top lane.
Yeah, it's very interesting. A little bit out of position there from the Mel, but, able to recover quickly with Kush.
Yeah. I would like to say that I believe our logos were mixed up at the beginning. Excessive Sloth is on the red side. So we may have been naming these teams wrong as we go on. But look at this CS lead in the bot lane. I mean, I know the wave is crashing and Ezra was walking back to base, but up over 10 CS already in only 4 minutes. Poosh is putting on a masterclass.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think that's interesting the way the jungle pathing is because they kind of leave it almost, that bot lane very isolated. And, we do see Night Ravens coming in here.
Yeah, puts the Ignite down. First Blood onto Chaz. Comboing in. Nowhere you could go as Mundo without flash. First Blood over to the Ambessa of Night Ravens.
Yeah, no flash on either member, but the extra mobility coming out from Ambessa there showing to be very, very relevant with that Ignite.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Ambessa not really known for early lane presence, but as I was going to say before we started getting some action, Excessive Sloth is actually picked, I think, very, neutralizing lanes, right? Trying to sort of minimize volatility in the lane phase, but Mundo not quite able to get it done. As you see, trying to establish a bit of a freeze here. Homura is here to break it, force that wave into the tower. Chaz actually taking half his HP upon TPing back. That's going to be a huge advantage for Night Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something you don't often see enough is, junglers recognizing that wave state and then, making sure that they can help crush that out or even that out for their top laners.
Yeah, that's the punish for it, though. It gets his tempo screwed over a little bit by cancel the recall. Chaz, don't do it again. Oh, gets it out just in time, actually. As we'll see, Excessive Sloth is over here taking the dragon down in bot lane. That's what they get for keeping Homura on the top side so long, as they're going to get an easy first Drake pickup for the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you're blue, you see that jungler on the other side, and you've got to take the time here. Ooh, it looks like we do have Night Raven going in here again.
Yeah, going back in. Hasn't used the public execution yet. Spell Shield still on for the Chaz, healing up, but we'll have to see if it's enough. Healing up, running out. Night Raven's now behind him as here comes the heroic entrance with Galio. Public execution just going to go right through him. Spell Shield from the Mundo going to block that out. Now Night Raven's having to escape, forced to use the E defensively. The Chaz turns it around with a great ulti in from Smokia.
Yeah, big thing to note here is that Night Raven, luckily with that extra time that was bought by Homura, does still have his TP, so should be able to get back to lane here without missing too much.
Yeah, not too punishing. An interesting note about the Galio Ambessa matchup, right, is that you can't just ult or Ambessa Mundo. Excuse me, we see a bit of an engage here. Homura taking really low, force a flash out, blue flashing in, gonna catch him 1-for-1 so far. As both junglers are down, everyone forced to run back off these scrubs, but Mitsuki's only level 4. We might be pushing it a little too hard. No, just gonna get to walk it out as Night Ravens comes in, evens up those numbers. Crushing Rock now stuck down here in a 1v2, taking serious punishment under the tower. Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely. As we talked about, I mean, this is exactly what Caitlyn lanes want to be doing. They want to be shoving you under tower, abusing that range advantage, getting additional plates, and they've been able to do just that. They've still been able to maintain a decent CS lead, up 12 CS right now. And, like you said, really being able to kind of abuse Crushing Rock and not giving him too much opportunity to do anything.
Yeah, if there's any AD carry I want to be in that situation, though, it is Ezreal, right? The ability to farm from range, E away from some of the poke with that arcane shift, sort of try and dodge in and out. Interesting thing to note, Sloth picked up 2 of the grubs on that topside fight. The third grub is still unclaimed, so actually do have a chance to get some progress towards that feats of strength if they were to path back up to the top side and claim that third grub, but it seems like they won't. They're just going to give it over to Homura as blue, pathing down to the bot side, trying to support his strong side, Caitlyn.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be interested to see we're kind of coming back here. Caitlyn coming back to Serrated Dirk and Pickaxe, having quite a bit of AD. We're going to start seeing them put some additional pressure as this Galio ultimate comes back up on maybe diving this bot lane. It'll be interesting to see where this timer, if they can get on Mitsuki before he hits 6. But it does look like we have a little bit of something going on here. Blue invading on this bot side jungle.
Yeah, it's actually a trade of invades. This Homura invading on the top side. Night Raven's taking a big trade up here, procking the Conqueror on the Chaz. It actually ends up about an even health trade. Mundo heals up a lot. Actually has an XP lead in this lane now somehow, even after getting killed. But you're right, as we see Blue here taking away that enemy Bramble back, traded for his own from Homura in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see, just kind of the continued bullying that Kushin is able to put down here. You know, the meld proving to be kind of similar to that Morgana and Lux style of lane with Caitlyn. You know, the root providing extra CC, lining up, you know, the Piltover Peacemaker, and just the additional damage that Kushin did down.
Yeah, as we see, well, maybe a little too far. Isokurian forced to back out, use the Reflect, ease in, dodge away from Crusher God. That's nice, but we may have a tower dive at the top side. Public Execution finds the Chaz. Stormbringer to disable the tower, but the tower's back online. We've gone too far in. A great heroic entrance from Smokia is going to make that a 2 for nothing to Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, it seems like maybe there's some miscommunication there. If you're FYS, when that Galio is off screen, you've got to be screaming that to your team. You know, that heroic entrance is really going to be able to turn dives like that, as we just saw. And unfortunately, it's just a really, really bad miss for the side of TMG here. Or, excuse me, for the side of Sloths.
And that's a hard dive to pull off, right? Like the CC into the Mundo, I'm assuming we're using Volley Q to try and proc the spell shield and then follow it up with the Public Execution, then turn off the tower. But like Mundo's got a lot of health to chew through even after you finally CC him, right? So I just think that lane is not really going to be that gankable. As we see the punishment on the bot side here for that bad play, Kush and Isocream going to claim the first tower. They got the Feat of Warfare on the top side with that play too. That's feats of strength right over to Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting decision. Trying to abuse, the Mundo and, like you said, dive through that spell shield and that passive versus, how about we relieve the pressure bot lane? You have Ghost, you have this ability to stick onto Caitlyn, especially because they're pushing so hard. And, they really didn't take it, and in the process, losing that bot tower.
Yeah, this is sort of the best case scenario for Excessive Sloth, right? It's kind of what we said. They're trying to neutralize these, what otherwise would be powerful lanes, and then play through their bot side. But like the fact that Mundo has not gone down on this matchup is now actually up, as we see 3 giant belts in his inventory. This guy's healthy. But
Absolutely.
The fact that he is not down on this matchup is really huge for their team and their scaling.
Absolutely. If we get a look at the gold here, if you'll look at Caitlyn's gold, the CS may be semi-similar, looking about to be only a 1-wave difference, but the amount of plate gold that Caitlyn is going to have under her belt right now, you're looking at 600, almost 700 additional gold that Caitlyn has right now with an even CS, or close to even. So, and man, we're only not even 12 minutes into the game yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they rotate Caitlyn and Mel around the map here to get some additional plates.
Yeah, putting him in mid right now, taunting up the Leona. This guy walking in, Mitsuki forced to flash out as the ult comes in from Mel. Maybe a little ambitious, not quite going to find that execute range. But what that Caitlyn gold lead we're talking about converts into is it's going to convert into a dragon as Caitlyn finished the collector really early before Ezreal hits a spike, and Excessive Sloth gets their second dragon completely uncontested. They are dominating the map in objectives. 2 grubs, 1 tower, 2 drakes. This is a big early lead.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're the side of TMG right now, you've really got to understand what can we play through. Well, right now your Syndra is in a decent position, so providing her support and allowing her to continue to scale into the game is going to be key. But also, how can we mitigate the effect that Caitlyn has on the game right now? How can we get into mid, relieve some pressure, or force play somewhere else and get something back? And it'll be interesting to see what route they take.
Yeah, I think the good thing if you're TMG here is that, like, at the end of the day, Caitlyn is still quite immobile, and playing into Volibear and Bessa Leona is going to be a little difficult, especially with the Syndra as well, right? That kind of Syndra ultimate coming in over the top. We can blow up Kush. So I think if you're TMG, we're saying, hey, let's wait, let's chill out, let's play for our, like, maybe 2 item spikes and try to fight around those, right? Ezreal pretty strong on 2 items, and Bessa very strong on 2 items, and say, look, if we can take a good fight, dive onto the Caitlyn around our 2 item spikes, maybe we can come back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have that second set of grubs here. Looks like we do have a little fight here. Night Raven just taking a trade against the Chaz. Nothing too crazy. The second set of grubs, it's up. Looks like it is going to be pretty uncontested. If you're TMG, this is the time where you need to accept, hey, we're weaker. We're behind at this moment. We need to take what we can, see what we can get elsewhere, and not force a fight where we're going to be at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, as you see, most of TMG just backed for their first item spikes to get completed there. Didn't have them before the grubs respawn, which means they kind of have to give away the grubs, right? They don't want to play into the Collector Caitlyn before the Ezreal backs for his Triforce. Now has the Triforce now on slightly more even footing. So Chaz taking a real tough trade. Public Execution going to get Night Raven a little bit closer. Ignite burning him down. We'll see if it's enough damage. Taking up a tower shot, though. I think that's going to force Night Ravens to back out. The Chaz actually maybe chasing into him now as well as Smokio and the Galio pretty safe here in the bot lane, flashing up, proccing that phase rush. Now Night Raven's trying to escape the Chaz. He's healed up, taking a tower shot of his own. This 1v1 is all over the place.
Yeah, crazy here. A little bit of skirmishing down in the bot lane, but nothing too much. Smokey, being 3 levels above Hamura right now, not a lot he can do.
Yeah, I mean, this Galio has kind of silently gotten really strong, trying to help on all these side lane plays, right? On the Grubs fight, ulting in on the defending the top dive, picking up both of those kills, right? This Galio is really strong, and that's just going to neutralize the Syndra even further. The Syndra could be a point of strength for TMG, but she's just not really going to be able to get much done in the side lane into Galio.
Absolutely, and I want to point out this itemization from the Chaz on the top side. Look at him rushing Swifties and this Warmog's, first item. You kind of love to see that when you think about how these team fights are going to play out. All that poke damage that he's going to be absorbing from Syndra and Ezreal. It's really nice to see him itemizing for that now, as the laning phase is over, and understanding that, in the position he's in, he doesn't need any of those more lane-focused items to get through this episode.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, my brain is so broken. I see multiple Giants belts. I go, it's a heart steal. It's got to be a heart steal, right? But no, this time he's going straight for the Warmog. He says, I don't need that. I'm just going to heal up. And then this, this synergizes with what Mundo's looking to do. Has a Giant's belt left over as well, so I guess could add a heart steal on top of that. Probably won't. Ice Cream, both supports actually, up on this top side now, sort of playing around this Herald spawn that will be up quite soon, around the same time as the next Dragon. We'll see if Sloth wants to maybe trade those objectives, look for a top tower on their strong side, as they've got 4 members up on the top side river.
Yeah, it's very interesting here, because if I'm Sloths, I mean, I want to prioritize the soul point. I want to make sure that we can guarantee that we're going to, make TMG have to make the choice, right? Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, this Caitlyn and Mel very easily able to get priority in this mid lane, and we'll see where Blue decides to go.
Yeah, a sort of maybe not underrated, but thing to point out about Mel's support is the ease with which she helps pushing the waves, right? That E, that Q, really help pushing the caster minions. Combine that with 1 Q from Caitlyn, that wave's completely gone. And look at what she could do in just checking brushes with the Q, right? It's so long range that you could no longer have to face check anything. Use that massive range to check out these brushes. Move in as a 5-man to the top side to secure what looks like potentially contested Herald. We'll see TMG moving in here. Now it's going to be a smite fight over the road. Blue team has stolen it from Hamura as he's going in. Stormbringer over the top. They found the Caitlyn. Kush barriered up though. Kite back. The volley drops to a headshot immediately. Ambessa now in the middle of everyone. Public execution. Not finding anyone. Heroic entrance. They have executed the Ambessa instead. The Herald may have gone to TMG, but the fight goes to excessive Sloths. A triple kill for the Caitlyn. Laying down the law. FYS forced to flash out, getting headshot.
Yeah, very interesting. If I'm TMG here, I think you need to give this, go towards the Dragon. You have FYS pushing in the bot lane. Let him push. Get that tower, move forward, get some additional waves, get good priority there, and then take the Dragon. This is one of those know when you can't fight, and unfortunately they took the fight anyway.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, as you see, the public execution actually missing onto Caitlyn, a bit of a missed execution from Night Ravens. I wonder how different this fight looks if the Caitlyn gets blown up right there at the start by the Ambessa, but the CC not layered quite correctly. Kush allowed to live, kited out, gets a huge shield from the Galio, and now so much gold, so much value injected into excessive Sloths. As you see, while we were in the replay there, they picked up the mid-tier 1 and their 3rd Drake.
Yeah, and I think something to note about how these fights are going to be played out in the future, too, is this Volibear kind of jumping and diving onto this back lane. Unfortunately, you've got to be able to kind of stay in front and continue to peel for your backline as well. You know, once Volibear was kind of out of the picture, and you can see that with no defensive, it was very easy to run down Crushing Walk at FYS.
Yeah, and as you can see, this is what Excessive Sloth's comp actually really wants to do and is doing really well. And as I said, hard to execute, but they're doing it pretty perfectly so far, as using the Xin Zhao and the Galio as disengage tools, right? Using the Crescent Guard to sort of push the Volibear back out, try and protect Caitlyn from this Ambessa dive, use the heroic entrance to get this huge shield on top of everyone, kind of completely neutralizing FYS's damage, to be completely honest. I mean, they're playing these fights clean.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and unfortunately, you're kind of starting to approach that point in the game where you're gonna have to choose where to make a stand. And you know, the upside to Excessive Sloth getting this third dragon, this sole point, and it being, you know, Otacon on the top side of the map is now they pretty much are going to have full control over, you know, which objective do we want? We're going to pick which one, and you guys are going to have to answer us. You know, they don't have to, they can give up a dragon, take Otacon. They aren't going to be forced into fighting over an objective they don't want to fight over.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'd like to see Sloth do with that lead, with that objective lead, is wait until Soul has spawned, wait until that Infernal Dragon has spawned, and then go take the Otacon. TMG is going to have to take the dragon. They're going to have to check it, have to contest on it. You take Otacon on that timer too. It'll be around 23 minutes into the game, right? If you take Otacon on that timer, Otacon is still active by the time that Baron spawns at 25 minutes. You blow the game wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're TMG here, I mean, you've got to start thinking, you know, how do I get back in this game? How am I going to get on this Caitlyn? You know, can I get into the side lane with Ambessa? Can we pick off this Chaz? Or can I get into the side lane with FIS? Can we pick off Smokey and this Galio? You know, you're going to have to overload one of these side lanes and start to get your solo laners kind of back into the game where they're not being, you know, answered so cleanly by the side of Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do. It's hard to get picks on the Galio. It's hard to get picks on the Mundo. These champions are so evasive, so slippery, and so tanky, right? Like, I'm failing to see a world in which TMG is able to get picks on them in the side lane. As we can see, Jazz actually bullying out the Ambessa in the side lane here. Important to note, it is going to be Voracious Otacon spawning in this game. That is the Revive, the False Life Otacon nerfed on this patch. The False Life buff involves a 15-second respawn timer, as opposed to the pretty much immediate one from the last patch. But that nerf, while a little annoying for the side of the team that gets Otacon, not altogether too impactful.
No, 15 seconds is still far above the 30 plus that it could be on the normal time. So definitely still a huge advantage for the team that gets it. Jumping this Herald mid lane, looking to get this tier 1 in mid, trying to get something back, but not sure they're going to be able to do it. Not really able to kind of escort that Herald in. Just the numbers from Excessive Sloths really cleanly answering that. Great job.
Yeah, I wonder if it was expiring or something. I don't really understand the using Herald now before Dragon spawning in a minute. I would have liked to see them wait. Maybe it was expiring, or maybe they were just trying to pull him off of the Otacon with that. Chaz actually taken quite low here in the bot lane, trying to push up onto the tier 2 tower. Not really in any kill threat, as again, the public execution really can't hit him. Chaz just going to heal all the way back up. That's the power of the Warmogs early. And as you see, he actually did go Heartsteel second, so just stacking health on top of health. Not much Ambessa can do.
No, absolutely. And, you know, while Ignite and the ability to cut healing that it entails still good, it's getting less and less effective over time. So unfortunately, it's kind of starting to become a little bit of a wasted summon as well as we get into this late game.
Yeah, we'll see if, you know, maybe the hope is that the Ignite can put some extra damage onto Kush. Maybe they can catch him out in the team fights. I do think that, like, if a team fight starts with TMG just blowing up the Caitlyn, there's a chance they win the fight, right? Kiting back with Ezreal, seeing if Syndra can put out the damage. Once Caitlyn falls, there's a bit of a lack of damage on the side of Excessive Sloth, but I just don't see that happening.
No, absolutely, you're spot on. I mean, they are kind of I don't want to say a true one carry team, but really they are. I mean, Caitlyn is the primary source of damage for this team throughout, and if they can find a way to get on that back line, you know, Volibear ghosting in, using that charge, Ambessa, you know, getting the perfect execution, and just those are going to be some really great tools. But I'm with you, and I really don't see it happening, because not only do you have to get on top of her, you then have to actually kill her before the rest of her team can respond.
You gotta kill her through the shields.
Yeah, looks like they are going to be looking to close to the soul point here. For the
Yeah,
soul here.
TMG starting up the dragon actually really quickly. It somehow got mid-prio or maybe just sacked mid-prio in order to claim the dragon. So that will not be sold for Excessive Sloth, but they will start at the Otacon just like I wanted them to do. Starting up the Voracious Otacon on the top side. Now it's on TMG to sprint up through the top side river, see if they can contest on the Otacon. Otacon not going down too quickly. Objective band is falling off as our gold gets a little bit closer. Otacon falling a little bit beneath half. Look at this line of Caitlyn traps, the Yordle snap traps. Is the Chaz just going to come tank him up, tanking up the whole team by himself? 1v5 is going to fall pretty soon, though. No, not quite. Crescent Guard down as Volibear into the backside with the Stormbreaker. Oh my god, taken by the red team, but not quite enough damage. We'll see how much Kush can do, trying to clean him up. A couple false lives claimed by TMG, but the Otacon goes to the side of Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, when you look at the ability of TMG to kind of get this is, look at that vision control that they have on this bot side. I want to point this out. This is how this whole play starts, right? They have such good vision control that it's actually hard for Excessive Sloths to come in here because you don't see anybody, you don't see where they're at. Very easily for one or two members to get picked up if they're not careful. And then, I think Excessive Sloths realizing this too late, and then by the time they react to it, TMG's already there. They're already on the way, and they committed to looks like getting picked off there. Mitsuki gonna trade his life for that tier 1 tower, but I still think that's gonna be a huge win for TMG. Great way to try to get back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So they get another tier 1 tower on the top side. They claimed 3 of the false life buffs immediately, and using that 15-second window that they had, claiming those tier 1 towers. And as you said, yeah, it's really well played. They got the mid-prio. They got great vision of the bot side river. They used that to claim the dragon. And Excessive Sloth a little slow on the trigger, right? If they'd started that Otacon a bit sooner, maybe it could have been a cleaner fight afterwards. But, they secure the Otacon and then immediately lose all of the buffs, right? Just put a bunch of gold over in the pockets of TMG, and they're not really going to have so many of the buffs left up as the Baron is spawning now, and they're right on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see. Not enough members of TMG here. Looks like we'll see if they decide to burn the Baron or just turn and fight.
Yeah, both of the tanks from Excessive Sloth still have that false life, but Baron burning down real quick, down to about 1k HP. Smite goes over to the red team. Blue has secured it. The Volibear's down already. And Bessa to the backside. Heroic entrance coming up, protecting Kush. The Caitlyn has fallen, though. Shut down by the Syndra. Crushing Gok now flashing out. He's going to fall as well. FYS stunned up. Going to fall. Night Raven's putting in some work at the backside. FYS actually flashing out. Still alive at the moment. Maybe just able to run out. Kush fallen. Not a lot of damage left for Excessive Sloth, but the Chaz still has the false lights chasing back in. Mitsuki stunning him up, but this Mundo is too healthy. He's too tanky. And Bessa not going to be able to clean him up. Stunned up by the Syndra. Everyone's going to walk it out. It looks like at the end, 2 for 2, but Baron to Excessive Sloth.
Yeah, huge shout out to FYS. Great execution on that Caitlyn. Great ability to sidestep some key abilities there and keep the fight going as well as it did for TMG.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it could have been much worse. The Baron is still alive on, I believe, 3 or maybe even 4 members of Excessive Sloth. As the team fight got a little messy, they got a little bit separated, and Bessa sort of split up the backside. Kush used the flash, didn't have the barrier up, and still fell to the Syndra with all sums up. But TMG is going to have to do that like multiple more times, even cleaner, if they want to sort of grasp their way back into this game.
Yeah, and something I want to see from Excessive Sloths, kind of saw it on the Otacon, is I think we need to really see them commit, right? I mean, with that Otacon, they decided, like, okay, I think we're going to try to burn it, and they sent the Chads out there to kind of tank, and in the process, they were able to basically kill him before they could finish Otacon. And even on the Baron, they had one person kind of half engaging, and looks like we're going to have a fight here. Hamura jumping in on Smokey, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see if they can pick him. That's a Zonya's out from Smokey so far. Blue coming in. Smokey is still about half health. Blue coming in with the Crescent Guard Stormbringer over the top of that. Volibear is going to drop too quick. Abessa trying to spin her way out with the lacerations. Not quite going to do it. Double kill to the Xin Zhao. An attempted pick from TMG turns into a disaster in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is definitely not something you can have here. If you see the Mundo pushing in the top side still, holding on to that Baron buff. FYS is only going to be able to do so much. So you can see, unloading what is close enough to a full combo there and not even really doing excessive damage to that Chaz. That passive just kind of preventing that. Oh, that ultimate doing next to no damage here.
Yeah, and look at this. Sloth pushing out the bot lane of TMG. down here on the bot side of the map, claiming that tier 2 tower on the bot as well as the top. And now they're just going to get to peel back off and claim Soul Point as their Baron is expiring in 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. The Dragon's up in 5. Nothing TMG can do to contest. They're going to try to walk into their red side jungle. They're going to try and walk all the way out to this Dragon. But Chaz is taking an inhib on the top side. They're losing everything.
Yeah, you can see that TMG is so concerned about this Soul Point that Chaz is just taking the base. We're going to see if they get a chance here.
Yeah, a bit contested, but Volibear not quite in the pit. Stuns up the Galio, cancels the heroic entrance. Galio now stunned up. Crescent Guard in the blue, creating so much space in this fight as it's time for Koosh to clean him up. That's a triple kill from the Caitlyn, laying down the law. Chaz gets the 1v1 kill on the top side. This game looks like it is all but over in favor of excessive sloths. FYS, as always, trying to keep his perfect score alive, trying to kite it down on the bot side, maybe see if he can get a kill onto the Caitlyn at the end here. But that's a 90 caliber net, and that is a head shot to the Syndra. Ace, 4 kills to Koosh, 9, 1, and 4. Keeping up that KDA, keeping up that 19 kills per game we saw on the stat line as a decisive Game 1 victory from Excessive Sloths takes down TMG Death Knights.
Absolutely. Very, very well fought. Very, very well done. You know, a lot of domination from kind of the whole team as they take a quick second here to get this final parts of the Nexus. But yeah, huge victory for Excessive Sloths. You know, we do see that kind of those stat lines for Cooch and Blue both coming out there. And they executed, right? Like you said, you know, it's definitely a little tougher to execute, but, you know, both Smokey out with that heroic entrance and Blue with Crescent Guard, I mean, they did a very, very good job of buying space, dealing for their team, and allowing Koosh to just stand there and put out damage.
Yeah, and that's a great shout out. As much as I would like to say, I think for me, Koosh is probably the MVP of this game. As wow, actually, look at that damage dealt to champions. That's actually kind of incredible from Night Ravens on the M-Pesa, putting up so much damage in the Mundo. Not really amounting to much though, but as easy it is to praise Koosh for this game, you're right, you do really have to praise the front line of Chaz, Blue, and Smokey creating so much space in these fights for him to free fire. I mean, in 1 or 2 of the fights he was threatened, but overall he seemed pretty safe to just kite it out and click some heads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I think often we talk about this 80 carries kind of get all the likes or the damage, but no, I mean, how easy it is if you're Caitlyn, if everybody's locked up in front of you, and anytime somebody jumps on you, your whole team jumps to your aid, and no, so great job from Smokey, and Blue. I mean, they did an incredible job, you know, getting Koosh online and allowing him to be as effective as possible, and definitely a very dominant game from Excessive Sloths.
Yeah, bright sides for TMG, we could say some good mechanical play from Night Ravens on the top side, taking good trades. We'll see if maybe he can get a more favorable matchup, like an even more winning matchup. He actually did get the early kill onto the Mundo as Mbessa, right? I believe it was a solo kill early on in the game. So good from Night
First
Ravens.
blood.
FYS playing really clean the whole game, right? Keeping his CS up, trying to keep his damage numbers up in those team fights. You know, just nothing he could really do when it comes to a Galio staring you down, a Mundo staring you down. Syndra doesn't have the damage to push through that. So back to the drawing board from TMG DK as we're going to take a little break. But stick around. We'll be right back. All right, hello and welcome back to the Titan Esports Winter 2025 Vanquisher League. As if you missed Game 1, Excessive Sloth up 1-0 over TMG Death Knights in a pretty stompy Game 1.
No, absolutely. I would call it quite dominant. Koosh just absolutely dominant in that lane, shot a ton of damage. Great performance from Smokey and Blue. Just overall, very, very dominant Game 1. Very interested to see where they go in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like also a lot of Sloth fans in the chat. Seems like maybe chat's happy about the way this series is going. I personally would like to see it go to 3 games. As I was looking at chat, also see a lot of people calling for Crushing Rock to pull out some AP bot laners. So we'll see if maybe that can be the difference maker from TMG in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for those unique, picks. AP bot laners have seen a giant pickup for 2025. Also, with the addition of Fearless Draft right now, we're not going to see the same things, which is always great for us. It's great for the fans. Sometimes the players don't like it, but oh well. But I'm very excited to see what unique things we get going for Game 2.
Yeah, this is where things seem to start getting a little bit spicy. As we'll see if Sloths can close this out 2-0 and sort of cement themselves as one of the top teams. As we're gonna hop into draft here. We'll see our teams have not switched sides. We have TMG still on the blue side, Sloths on the red side, same as last game. J4 ban, same as last game.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that they're not gonna change up the bans too much. Skarn or Hui, those things are gonna be the same thing. Zyra being that additional ban. I would be curious, if you're TMG, what do we put FYS on? Despite the result of that game, FYS had a hell of a performance. Played very well, very clean, did the best he could. So I'd be very curious to see, they prio pick that Syndra form on B1. Is there another priority pick we're going to look to force through or something else? We are going to get a little bit of a ban difference here. We do have Gwen being banned away, maybe alluding that they want to allow Hui or that Skarner through. Nico banned inside of TMG.
One of the two of them at least will get through. You could also leave them both up, right? And let TMG pick one, you pick the other. Something like that. But on the note of FYSs, there you go. Hui ban. Skarner still up. We'll see if TMG wants it. I would like to see FYS on something with a little more agency. Maybe something like an Aurora or an Ahri, both champs that he plays. And there we go. Aurora,
hey, Aurora, good call out. Yeah, absolutely.
It's still a flex pick. It can go top lane if Night Ravens plays it, but it has a little more agency in the side lane, a little more flanking power in the team fights, so maybe he's not forced to wait for his team to make space. He can go in on his own.
Absolutely. We are going to see the answer from Smokey as that Ahri. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Skarner here. I mean, Skarner's been such a dominant pick. Even with the nerf, we are going to see that Skarner locked in by Blue. Not super surprising. If TMG's going to allow that through, they're going to take it. What kind of answer do you want to see out of, Homura here? The Volibear's already gone. The Xin Zhao's gone.
Yeah, it's hard with the Xin Zhao gone. Xin Zhao actually, I think, somewhat a traditional answer into Skarner. And without that, I'm not really sure what Homura's going to want to play. So picking up a Varus here as well in the bot lane for Crushing Rock. We'll see, maybe they want to pick a support. No, Diana.
Oh, interesting.
Wow, I think a Diana jungle for Homura. A bit strong, heavy on the AP at least, but Diana, powerful clearer, good in the team fights. We'll see what Homura can do on it.
Yeah, an interesting stat. Oh, is that a Vayne? Yeah, it is a Vayne locked in. Wow, for the side of Excessive Sloth. Not something you see traditionally, not really in a great spot. Going into that Varus is going to be super outranged. A weird stat I will, point out to everybody is Varus has been about a 38% presence in our league so far, but only has a 13% win rate. It has not been performing well these first couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if Crushing Rock can skew the stats better in Varus' favor. We're going to see some supports get banned out. This Fiora banned out, a little bit of protection for the side of the Chaz. Interesting to see where these bans go. Another support banned out as well.
Yeah, Koosh is a Vayne player. It's one of his most played in solo queue, so this is actually looking like we're right. It probably is going to be a Vayne bot lane, but yeah, if Varus is going to thrive in any kind of matchup, it's going to be somewhere where he's significantly outranging his opponent, getting to push them in, sort of move up to Drakes like that, sort of poke them out, and I think this could be a good matchup for Varus. It'll depend on the supports. They're saving their counter pick for support on the side of Excessive Sloth with a Wukong lock-in. Jack's going to be the answer in top lane for Night Ravens, looking for some skirmish potential, sort of similar to the Ambessa. He wants to go in, he wants to make space, he wants to get onto that back line, as we'll see Nautilus rounding out the comp for TMGD.
Yeah, interesting if we're going to see that Skarner go top and Wukong stay in the jungle, or if Wukong is going to go back into an old role and play top themselves. It'll be very interesting to see. We do have the Renata. Looks like they're going to be locked in here for the side of Excessive Sloths. Very, very interesting picks to come out. That definitely not traditional. Let's put it that way. It's not where I would see most pick orders go.
I would agree. It looks like, Excessive Sloth wants to go in. Skarner wants to go in. Wukong wants to go in. That's a Vayne bot lane. I think that's going to kind of be the name of the game, right? Is can Kush get ahead even in an unfavorable matchup, right? Last game, Kush did so much work converting an early lane lead into a game victory for his team. We'll see if he can do it with maybe a little less prio in the bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, that Skarner is going to go to the top side, little tank side top here for the Chaz. Night Ravens on the Jackson is his second most played, only two, and best slate is like those skirmish heavy champions. We see a lot better scaling with this Jax. Not a ton of setup, on the side of TMG versus XVS, in those lanes. You think the charm coming out, you think the handshake from Renata. So it's going to be interesting to see what lane that Blue decides to prioritize and play around. So very excited here as we get into game number 2.
All right, here we go. Game number 2. We are on the Rift. TMG Death Knights on the blue side. Excessive Sloth up 1-0 on the red side already. Running back the same side select. And TMG kind of running back their level 1 strat. Moving out as 5. Seeing what they can accomplish here. Nautilus, great on the invade. Great level 1 champ. Going to see if they can catch out Smokey on the Ahri. Probably not, just going to back off. Smokey, a great performance in game 1. Great performances from all of Sloth. We'll see if they can repeat that on some maybe more interesting picks. Leslie, who do you got in this one?
Well, if I'm looking directly at the drafts here, as much as it's got to be tough here. I think this one's a lot closer, but I think I'll have to give it to TMGD. I struggle to see how effective this Vayne is going to be in the bot lane. It is double range, so you do have a little bit of priority there, but I do like to see FYS on something a little more, like you said, a little more agency, something with a little better, roaming potential and impact that he can make early and not have to scale into it as much as the Syndra. So I think I'm going to have to give it to TMG.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on this one. I think TMG's comp is clearer in what it wants to do, has potentially more winning lanes, right? I think Varus Nautilus is hopefully going to get a strong push into the side of Excessive Sloth. Interesting jungle start here as we see Excessive Sloth actually leashing their opponent's red buff for Blue. Blue on the Wukong starting on the bot side, red buff.
Yeah, something to note, when they all invaded, they see all 5 members top side. Very easy way for them to get in with some vision. And then, of course, go ahead and kind of take that red buff away. We do see Humura trying to answer back as he did want to path towards that bot side, but looks like they're going to give up their bot lane prio to chase out Blue here. Man, really, really effective here in the very beginning of the game here.
Yeah, he gets spotted out as Humura moves over to the Raptors, but he got what he came for, right? He gets the red buff, and it's not a split map. Humura does not go to the enemy top side, despite having vision. Sort of moves back down to the bot side as we see, wow, pro comps favoring Excessive Sloth. Now, I know that Vayne actually does a very high solo queue win rate at the moment in the bot lane. Maybe that has something to do with it, but we'll have to see, the two of us on the other side. But pro comps is favoring who seemed to be the better team from last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, Night Raven coming in here with the counter-strike, getting a little bit of damage onto the Chaz. Ooh.
Yeah, Skarner low on mana, dropping really low. Empowered strike. Night Ravens first blooding the Chaz 2 games in a row. Top lane domination from Night Ravens.
Yeah, interesting that the Chaz died with his flash all the way up, just interesting, maybe thinking they can't get away, unable to do so, or not really respecting the empowered strike and the amount of damage that it's able to put out.
Yeah, my question is, how did we get this low mana at level 3, right? What kind of trading are we taking this early in the game that, and he runs out of mana so quickly. That this is the issue with Skarner in the top lane, I guess. His mana regen just not as strong as it is in the jungle. That's an easy first blood for Night Ravens. Oh my god, Smokey has fallen on the Ahri in the mid lane. FYS with the kill. Blue diving under the tower, but he's going to fall as well. Double kill to the mid laner of TMGD. A much stronger start, claiming the feat of warfare in game 2.
Absolutely, and as we talked about this bot lane, Crushing Rock and Mitsuki having that push, able to keep them back. You know, the Vayne very much keeping up in CS at the moment, but definitely not having control over the wave.
Man, a 1v2 double kill for Aurora in the mid lane is so crazy to me. How are we getting caught on as Ahri in that situation? And he's already blown his TP. It's an Ignite versus TP matchup. This is so punishing for Smokey. He's going to go down a sizable amount of CS. This is Mitsuki falling quite low in the bot lane. Kush picks up a kill, seeing if he can get the reset from the Renata. Cannot barrier up for Crushing Rock. Seems like he might pick up a double kill. Kareem flashing out, gonna fall to the minions. Another double kill over to TMGD, 5-2, and it's only 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a much different start to this game than it was to last game. We do see Smokey coming down here, see if he can get something off of Crushing Rock. Foxfire, Orb of Deception, going to go ahead and take down that kill, get a little bit of a shutdown back over to the side of the possessive Sloth.
Yeah, an easy roam down, but he's dropping a wave for it, right? Like, look at this, FYS pushing a wave into the tower, may even pick up a plate off of that. Smokia, good to get the shutdown, right? There was a bit of gold bounty on the Varus, but he's down a level now on FYS in the mid lane after getting killed. These are winning lanes from all 3 parts of TMGD, exactly how you want to start game 2 after getting kind of stomped in the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, FYS kind of up on that double kill. You know, the only downside here is the Smokey, did, of course, drop that wave to kind of go ahead and answer that bot side, which, again, picking up the kill is great for him, but, you know, showing down here a whole wave and 6 CS difference here to FYS.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strong start. Now, we have to see if TMG can convert this into some objectives. The first Dragon has spawned, first Herald on the way. Homura, though, wants to capitalize on these strong lanes, starting up the Dragon on the Diana bot lane, pushing in as we said it would. Oh my god, Between Worlds coming up from SYS, trying to dive Smokey onto the tower. Smokey low on mana, but FYS tanks 2 tower shots, forced to back out. Smokey, though, not hitting level 6 yet. FYS may have just forced him to recalls. The Dragon seems pretty uncontested for TMG. The bot lane moving up after pushing out, although Blue is here on the Wukong, diving in. Drake down to about 600 health. Smite early from Blue, though. Zamura's going to pick it up, and now Blue's going to fall pretty quick. Oh, gets the reset from the Renata, actually. See if he can get back out. Crushing Rock picks up the kill with the volley, but yeah, Kush picking up another one there. Mitsuki now trying to get out, see if he can land a hook onto the wall. Does, but might not be able to escape from the extra move speed from this Vayne. A couple of good kills over to excessive Sloth, but the Dragon falls to TMGD.
Yeah, you got to be careful there. You know, Blue going in, they were able to, you know, that missed smite, unfortunately not getting the Dragon, but they were able to pick up a couple of kills, kind of get evened up here. Only going to be a 500 gold difference. You know, catching up a little bit. Night Ravens continuing to push in the Chaz on the top side, kind of controlling this lane very well, up 15 CS. And we'll see where it evens out as this wave crashes.
Yeah, but this is what's so strong about their spot with their pushing lanes, is they get to move from the Dragon. They die, they go, yep, great, thanks for the fast pace. We're going to go straight to Grub, see if we can claim these first 3 and really push towards those feats of strength. Diana, pretty good at clearing up these Grubs by herself, actually. Blue is on the top side on the Wukong, but not level 6 yet. We'll see if he wants to contest these Grubs, if he's even going to sniff it out. No, he is not. That is 3 Grubs down to TMGD.
Yeah, we'll see the supports kind of on the top side. Looks like this Nautilus, and maybe looking for a dive up here on the Chaz on this top side.
Yeah, we'll see. Nautilus only level 4. Chaz is level 7. Has the Impale available. Uses the Ishtal Impact into the wall. Flashes out, though. Mitsuki tanking up the tower. Beautifully executed dive from TMGD. That's going to be a big punish on the Chaz. Doesn't have TP up. Going to lose a couple of waves. They lost the Grubs. TMGD moving around the map.
Absolutely. Great job of juggling turret aggro. And then, you know, give credit to Excessive Soft on this side. Really trying to zone off Crushing Rock, allowing him to take as much XP away as possible while the Nautilus is on the top side of the map. Ooh, good trade on Smokey out here.
FYS up a lot in this mid lane, dealing so much damage. This is kind of what we saw last game, actually. Mitsuki roaming up earlier. Kareem staying down in lane as, wow, ult for ult in the mid lane. Between Worlds going to force out the dashes from Ahri. Ahri not going to be able to get much more. A little too low health, going to have to back off. But this is what we saw last game. Crushing Rock, excuse me, stuck in a 1v2 into Kush and Isokareem, but this game, the Vayne Renata not really able to punish him under the tower the same way they did last game. He's able to just farm from a distance, farm up totally safe as Mitsuki gets some objectives around the map, gets bonuses on the roams.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to see... Oh, Night Ravens, look at he's going to go all in here with the Empowered Strike. Grandmaster at Arms going to be doing a lot of damage here on the Chaz. Looks like he's going to be able to take him out. Ooh, a little bit of an unnecessary preemptive flash, but we can really see this lane snowballing in favor of Night Raven and the Jax on the top side.
He's just styling on him there. He doesn't need the flash. That's saying, yep, I got the kill. I'll flash on you. Chaz tried to get the Impale out right before he died. I actually don't think it cast enough to even go on cooldown. I think that's what he was flashing. He was maybe scared he was going to get impaled and dragged back into the tower, but Night Raven's dominating this top matchup, up 30 CS. See a bit of a lane gang from the Diana. As Blue matching up on the top side, Night Raven's just going to ward hop out. Homura lane ganking is now in the second brush, unspotted. Kush dash again, change the corruption onto Isokareem, forced to use the ulti depth charge out onto Kush. Looks like they're actually going to get out safe, but both flashes blown in exchange for just the one for TMGD. A good lane gank. We'll see if they can convert those flashes blown into any kind of dive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, oh, looks like we're going to have a little bit more action. Impale being used,
Yeah,
what they used
there it
earlier.
is.
Oh, going to be
Ishtal impact suppressed,
Oh, man.
dragged back. Well played from the Chaz to get it back. As we said earlier, he tried to cast Impale before his last death. You saw the animation start, but it did not go on cooldown because the cast did not complete. So he TP's back in. I think Night Raven's probably assumed that it was on cooldown the way that we did, but he uses it, drags him right back into the tower, gets a shutdown. That's going to help him a lot even out this lane.
Absolutely, and the big thing to think about too as the game goes on is that Skarner is going to be a lot more effective on less items. You know, ooh, looks like Mitsuki here looking for a little something in the bot lane. We are going to go ahead and replay this Impale. Wow, dragging it right under, able to go ahead and pin him against the wall early. Huge win back for the Chaz there.
That's awesome, and you rarely ever see Skarners chain the R into the E, but when the R is so unexpected, right, Night Raven's assuming it was on cooldown, you can chain it like that and just sort of catch your opponent by surprise. Night Raven's had no flash. There's no counterplay to that one. See Smokey blowing the ultimate in the mid lane just to clear out the wave. Down not as much as before. CS about even in all of those lanes except top lane. Night Raven's still up about 20.
Yeah, something I want to point out, you know, you look at this Varus build, looks like he is going to be building, looks like probably the Rage Blade first, going to be looking for more of that DPS style build, you know. Varus being one of the AD carries, it does have a little bit of build diversity. You have AP, you have lethality, you have this on-hit DPS build. So it does look like he's going to be building towards that primary damage source for his team.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have minded poke Varus in this game. I think that TMG has a very high damage team comp. I think Jax does a lot of sustained damage. I think Aurora's sustained damage is actually not that bad. I know you do have to punch the Chaz. He's going to get that Heartsteel. He's going to get that Thimblewinter. He's going to be very tanky, but I would have minded to see a lethality Varus this game. I think the poke onto people like Vayne and Renata could be really valuable, but we'll have to see if the on-hit Varus gets enough uptime in these fights to deal damage. Chaz forced to back out with the Ishtal impact. Blue team has slain the Mountain Drake, though. That is another early objective over to TMGD, and if I'm not wrong, that should be feats of strength. As Mitsuki going in, depth charge onto Kush. Kush forced to back out. Rooted up, though, between worlds coming in. FYS is on a killing spree. This is what we wanted to see.
No, absolutely. I mean, everyone's having much more agency in this game, in between worlds, giving him a lot of opportunities to kind of jump in. And like you said, we'll see as this game goes on, you know, what's he going to be able to do with these flanks? You know, he did play very well. Ooh, looks like Night Raven's going in, dodging the Impale. Very good on the counter strike. Looks like Empowered and Leap Strike going to be able to finish him off. Huge play at the top by Night Raven. Great sidestep.
That's 3 solo kills in the top lane. This is a miserable experience for the Skarners. We see Kush losing a full wave on the bot side there. Plate over to Crushing Rock. Kush not really able to play with the same amount of age as he had in the last game. He's so outranged by this TMG comp that in these fights, right, Nautilus locks him up with the death charge. There's nothing he can do. He is 100-0 popped. As Night Raven was actually going to claim the first tower on the top side too. This is a bit of a stomp so far in the early game for TMGD. Is Smokey dashing out on the Ahri, forced to because of the nice Mitsuki roam. Blue team has destroyed the first tower. All 3 parts of the feats of strength, the TMGD. That's overkill.
Absolutely. You know, Kush isn't really that behind when you look at CS, but I I wonder if he's going to be able to be relevant fast enough to make an impact as we get to this mid game, because you're gonna have some really big powerhouses and huge loads of damage coming out from FYS, Hamura, Night Raven. You know, I also think as this game goes on, who's gonna answer this Jax in the side lane? I don't know.
It's going to have to be Ari, as we've seen the Skarner clearly not capable. Solo killed 3 times already. You see Blue coming in for a bit of a lane gank on the Wukong. Mitsuki rooted up, pulled back with a handshake. Not going to amount to much. Chaz escaping through the wall. He does not want to fight this Jax anymore. But I agree. I think part of the power of TMGT's comp is that even when they're diving onto the back line, they can do it kind of slow, right? Jax and Aurora actually really good champions at starting to dive, backing off a little bit, maybe trying to blow some of those disengaged cooldowns before they go in. See Blue hiding in the bot lane brush here.
Yeah, I love this. You know, all of his camps on cooldown currently, looking to really force something here on the spot side. Oh, huge
handshake back in, flash in the Cyclone out. Crushing Rock gonna fall immediately. Second cast, the Cyclone Blue has gotten the kill. Oh, but he's rooted up, pulled back into the tower, takes up 3 tower shots as the Chaz is TP'd in though. Impale on the Mitsuki, falling down between worlds though. FYS is on a rampage. He's here, the Weirding, not quite enough to claim Isaac Ream. Diana in the backside though, gonna get him with the Moonfall. Chaz trying to escape out. FYS and Mitsuki taken very low. Ari not quite able to clean it up yet though. Spirit Dash in. Diana, Hamura up a lot of HP. We see Smokey L wants the kill, gets the charm off, gonna hopefully be able to run this one out. Messy fight though, 4 down for successful Sloth. More flashing in, grabs him with the Q. Great cleanup from the Diana.
Yeah, I mean, I like what we saw from Blue here, really trying to force something, but you know, as we talked about the agency from FYS, the ability to rotate, the ability to be effective in those fights, I mean, TMG just answered very, very cleanly.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, that's a great roam from FYS. The TP in from the Chaz was powerful, but look how much Night Ravens gets on the top side, right? He's up now 40 CS. He didn't TP into that play. He went, I don't need to. My team is quick on the roam. They're going to get this counter engage. Mid lane tier 1 now actually going to fall the Crushing Rock as well. He's going to push one more wave into it. They're TPing on it, but the tower should just die if he wants to hit it. Nope, not actually going to hit it. The wave will be cleared out by Smokey, but yeah, 15-8 up 6K gold or so for TMG Death Knights. This is a huge reversal from game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always love to see this. How do you respond, right? Part of keeping that mental aspect of the game is, you know, kind of got rolled over in game 1, and you know, how do we respond? And I think that TMG has done a great job so far. So let's see if they can close it out.
Yeah, and they're doing really well at converting these leads into pressure and converting that pressure into objectives. Moving up first on the Rift Herald now, they're going to claim this uncontested. Homura has been first to every objective, while also being up 40 CS in the jungle. That's impressive on the Diana. Really sort of gapping the Wukong out. Smokey takes so much damage from the Weirding. FYS, 2 levels up in that mid lane matchup. It's looking miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think they did a great job forcing that Herald when they did. Gives them time to respond. Use that Herald now. Gain some priority to kind of go and look and take this dragon for soul point.
Yeah, tossing the Herald down in the mid lane, going to claim the tier 1. It's going to get maybe a charge out on the tier 2. They're going to move actually into the bot side jungle as Chaz stunning Night Ravens up into the tower. Not really going to matter much. Night Ravens actually just wants to hit the tower. Gets the impale down though. As Smokey got caught out on the bot side. Night Ravens does get the tower. Counter strike onto the Chaz, stuns him up. Jumping out. Chaz flashing in, but he's out of mana. Kush here popping the ultimate, seeing if he can chase down Night Ravens. Gets that bonus move speed. Counter strike though. Night Ravens stunning him back up. Jumping out so clean from the Jax. I don't think they're going to be able to find him. Ishtal impact. He's running in. Night Ravens has escaped quite to the tower, gets the counter strike back up for the 3rd time in the chase. It's so punishing. He gets out on the top side to get the dragon on the bot side. Everything is coming up TMG.
Yeah, we're gonna get a replay on this bot side as Ari trying to get out, realizing that they're not gonna have numbers, you know, being canceled, and then a quick snipe here from Crushing Rock. And then notice the Vayne went top to answer Night Raven. So how do you fight this dragon? You don't. You can't. It's just gonna be that soul point. Handed it over to TMG very cleanly.
Yeah, completely uncontestable. I think they said, hey, look, you know, we're not going to be able to contest this dragon. Ari's on a reset timer. Even if she didn't die there, right, she would be resetting at the same exact time as the dragon. Let's just send Kush topside. Maybe we can catch him before he gets the tier 2. Night Ravens gets the tier 2. He gets out. They get the dragon. They get the kill. It's so much in favor of TMGD. And you see Smokey not even able to enter his own jungle, forced to use that Spirit Rush just to get back out after even seeing the Diana on his screen.
Yeah, definitely something to be, Smokey has really had to use that Spirit Rush quite a lot to get out of positions. I mean, just maybe some positioning to think about, but unfortunately, it's not been available in a lot of these key fights. So it's very interesting. A cooldown that is lower, but still something to keep our eyes on as time goes on. If you're TMG here, look like we're gonna have a little bit of a fight here. The handshake connecting.
Ooh, FYS caught by the handshake. Cyclone getting two, goes berserk. Shut down over to blue. That's really nice. Second Cyclone coming in, gonna lock up Mitsuki, but here comes Night Raven. Phenomenal moonfall from the Diana. Double kill over to the top laner. Blue gonna fall as well. That's 2 double kills. 4 down for the side of Sloth. They claim the Aurora, but at what cost?
Absolutely. It was a great pick to start off of, and then they just committed way too hard. The Diana getting the huge 4-man moonfall. I mean, that's a ton of damage that comes out. Each person increasing the damage. They're going to be up about 10k gold here, just before Otacon spawns. I mean, if you're excessive Sloths, you're kind of hoping for a miracle. There are going to have to be some huge mistakes on the side of TMG for you to win this game.
Yeah, there's some big shutdowns. You gotta hope, okay, maybe we can find the Diana, maybe we can get a pick of the Jax on the side lane, maybe we could do something, but Kush just no uptime in these fights. He can't hit anyone. They're getting caught, they're getting blown up by the Diana and the Aurora. Varus, even with the on-hit build, putting out so much damage with these empowered Qs over the top. I mean, the AoE wombo combo from TMG is just leaving Sloth in the dust.
Absolutely, and as we've seen, nobody's able to answer Night Raven. I mean, the Chaz, if he goes up anywhere in range, is just gonna knock him out. If you're excessive Sloths, maybe one thing to think about right now is that Night Raven's TP is on cooldown. Can we find a 4v5 where Night Raven's not going to be involved, where we can try to find a favorable fight? And I think if you're TMG, that's kind of your only option right now, is try to find a numbers fight and see if you can make something happen. But again, looks like we might get something started here. Missed on a handshake here.
Yeah, Mitsuki maybe caught out of it as Blue going in with the Cyclone recast here, but he's already falling down. Oh, gets the reset from Lunata as Mitsuki falls flashing over the wall, though. Nice catch from Excessive Sloth. Maybe gonna deter TMG from pushing onto this Otacon here as FYS jumping in, but the Chaz wants to go in. Ishal Impact suppressing him into the wall, and Pale, unstoppable with the ultimate though. So well played, buffering it from FYS. The Chaz is gonna fall, crushing rock on a rampage. Otacon is aggroed. Moonfall finds 3. Isokarib falls immediately. Blue into the backside though. Gotta claim FYS. No, not quite. FYS jumping out. Shut down onto the Diana though. FYS only one left alive here, but Night Raven's pushing into the tier 3. This Jax does not care about your team fights. He wants to win the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got that pick and then continued to stay. And with that stay, Smokey out looking here with the Spirit Rush. Is he gonna get the finish? Gets the finish on FYS. Spirit Rush lock on there would be very helpful. But yeah, like we said, the Chaz just kind of able to push in, get the tower, get the inhibitor, and really uncontested. Excessive Sloth took so long to kind of make their decision there that they gave him so much time to push down that bot side.
Yeah, and Blue playing these fights out really well, right? Finding these great Cyclones. Smokey out. Wow, Hexgate through and TP's out of a sticky situation. Good escape there, but has to blow the TP. A little unfortunate on that cooldown. But as I was saying, Blue playing so well in these fights. He's getting the Cyclone onto key members. They're finding good picks. He's diving in the right amount, not too much, but FYS outplaying so hard in that fight. Let's watch it again. I want to focus on... as we can see him dodging out the Skarner. So we're here at the end of the fight. Smokey on the 1v1 on FYS, seeing how he catches him out. The weirding, jumping becomes invisible. But yeah, as you're right, the lock on from the Spirit Rush, a little too much. And then, I guess, does he get caught out here? Yeah, Mitsuki comes and cancels his recall. Okay, this is what happens. Wow, and Night Ravens is behind him, so he takes the Hexgate through and TP's out. Well played, good presence of mind there from Smokey to get out of that sticky situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see this mountain soul drag up. Homura already there, already looking to pressure this dragon. If you're excessive Sloths, is this the fight? Your topsider has TP, but so does Night Raven. Are we going to make something happen here?
Yeah, they're a little late to the fight, dragging down to 7K, but TMG actually going to pull off of it. Night Ravens walking down slowly, actually now walking back up to the top lane as the objective that he actually claimed for excessive Sloth, but another huge move. So much damage coming in from the Aurora Impale, pulling him back into the side, but Crushing Rock has fallen, Kush has fallen, both the AD carries are down. Night Ravens has TP'd in though, he's putting up so much work at this team fight, zoning the backside, double kill to FYS, double kill to Night Ravens on a rampage. 4 fall for excessive Sloth. TMG gonna look to push into the base and end this game at 23 minutes.
Yeah, the Diana just getting so many humongous moonfalls, multiple members all the time. There's just so much damage. You know, much cleaner game from TMG here. Very, very exciting. You know, very glad to see them bounce back, and it looks like they are going to take game number 2 here. Wow, great job. Looks like we're going to get a quick replay. Oh, nope. Looks like we're going to go to the Nexus. Looks like it has shown as the TMG Death Knights victory in game number 2 of this match today. Huge shout out. I mean, FYS, great performance. Hamura, great performance. Night Raven, holy cow. Talk about lane domination. 3 solo kills, huge CS lead. Absolutely great performance from the side of TMG.
Yeah, and look, they're working with exactly the highlights that we saw from game 1, right? Mitsuki, great roams in the lane phase to set up his solo laners. Night Ravens just crushing that solo lane. I'm gonna have to give MVP of this game. It's really hard. I kind of want to give it to Night Ravens. I mean, 3 solo kills in lane is a recipe for success, taking so many towers throughout this game. But he didn't need to TP into fights because FYS was putting in so much work in those fights, making that Aurora look completely broken.
Absolutely. I do want to point out that there's damage to turrets that Night Ravens has put out there. I think, you know...
Almost lost damage to turrets. They did a combined total of like less than 400 damage to turrets.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, absolute domination. I would tend to agree Night Ravens kind of deserves the MVP for me. I mean, I think FYS had a great performance. I think Hamura had a great performance. I think Crushing Rock had a great bounce back in that bot lane after kind of getting put into the dirt in game 1. And you know what? I'm very excited to see this go to a game 3. And I think at this point, it's going to come down to that execution and how they play, but it could go either way.
Yeah, it's really anyone's game, as we've seen, like, Kush not really able to have the agency he had in game 1, and the second game not able to put out the damage. FYS was on a pick with a lot of agency, but both the Ari and the Aurora are down now, as Fearless Draft going to make this a bit more interesting, going to have to dig deeper into the champ pools. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. Game 3 coming right up.
like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh 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 crazy oh 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 crazy crazy oh oh crazy oh 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy crazy do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh
All right, welcome back to the Titan Esports Winter 2025 Vanquisher League Week 3. If you missed it, we are currently tied 1-1. Excessive Sloth dominating the first game, and TMG Death Knights maybe dominating even harder in the second game.
Absolutely, both games being very one-sided. I mean, they look like two different teams, both games. I mean, it was kind of wild. Kush, super effective, absolutely lane dominant, really able to progress that lead throughout the game. And then in game two, not so much. The one thing I do want to point out here that I do like seeing is that Night Ravens solo kills the Chaz both games. All right, both games. If you're the Chaz going into game three, I do not want to get solo killed in this third game. Just going to be a little quick recap of our, this does not look like the right draft, but we did have a Skarner v Jax in the top lane last game, Night Ravens on the Jax. I think that's going to be a huge confidence booster. Obviously, he played very, very well in game two. As we get into game number three, the Fearless draft kind of really swings into full effect, right? We're now 10 different champions that are unplayable. We've got some power picks out of the way. We've got some personal performance picks that are now out of the way. It's going to be very curious to see what champions get picked from the vault and what make it into the lineup.
Yeah, this is where you have to dig a lot deeper into the pool, right? Especially for people like Night Ravens, for people like FYS that we were saying, we really want them on picks with a lot of prio, that are going to get lane prio, that are going to be able to get kills, move around the map, they're going to have a lot of agency on. We'll see if they have any left, right? Looking for things like maybe Camille up in the top lane for Night Ravens, right? He's already used the Ambessa, already used the Jax. Those are his three most popular picks in solo queue so far this season. But either way, I got to imagine he's going to win lane. It's happened 2 games in a row. I don't see it going the other way. But for Excessive Sloth, they need Kush on something that either they can protect or can give him a lot of agency. I think Kush needs to win lane. Kush needs to go into the mid game with a gold lead, and they can snowball from there. Both teams have been so good at snowballing early lane leads into objectives, of snowballing those into wins. So we'll see who can get the winning lanes, I think.
Absolutely. And if I'm Excessive Sloths going into this draft, knowing that Night Ravens has had his 2 best picks already played and playing very well on them, that I want to pinch out whatever is left of his pool and give, the Chaz the best possible matchup that I can get.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. We have swapped sides for the first time this series. Excessive Sloth now on the blue side. TMG Death Knights on the red side. Bans remaining the same, though. TMG banning out the Nocturne. Excessive Sloth banning out the Zyra, banning out the Gwen. Sort of pinching those AP champs. I know Zyra, a bit of a pocket pick of Crushing Rock in the bot lane. Kind of a fun one. They're banning that stuff out. But, yeah, Nocturne, J4 out again. These AD junglers sort of banned all series.
We'll see if this Hui is going to make it through. Being on B1, they are going to ban the Victor. Leaving Hui open, it'll be interesting if TMG responds with that Hui ban. If not, you got to think that Sloths are going to take it. They are going to take that Hui ban, not going to let it through. One of the most dominant picks in our Vanquisher League. So let's see what Excessive Sloths has cooked up for B1 of game number 3.
I like to think they're doing us a service, saying, look, it's okay that you don't know the names of all of Hui's abilities. All right. Corky V1 for Excessive Sloth. This is a flex pick. Still, we see it in the mid lane, we see it in the bot lane. I'm assuming it will go down to the bot lane, but not 100% sure. Kog'Maw, however, the response from TMG DK.
Yeah, I would tend to see it more in the bot lane now, too. And I would like, Kush. It is something that's got, it's very strong in the metagame right now. And I think it does give Kush a decent amount of agency. But you got to love the classics. Scaling, bot lane, scaling AD carry, Enchanter support, Lulu Kog'Maw, very classic lane coming out from TMG.
Yeah, look, some comps just continue to work. They worked a long time ago, they still work today. Kog'Maw, Lulu, a classic Enchanter hypercarry bot lane. A Mumu picked up on the other side, assuming that's going to blue in the jungle. Sort of one of the more powerful AP junglers we have in a Blitzcrank support. Wow, for Isocrine.
Yeah, Blitzcrank, it's kind of the hit or miss support of these types of leagues. Either they're absolutely incredible, they get a ton of value, or they do nothing. We are going to see the Orianna picked as the blind pick mid lane answer here on the side of FYS. So be very curious to see, if I'm again, if I'm Sloth here, I'm going to be banning out this top lane. I'm going to give the best possible matchup I can to the Chaz. So if you put him into another losing matchup, it's not gonna go well. We are gonna see the Vi banned out first.
Yeah, the issue here with that though is that they are on blue side, right? So R5 will probably end up going to Night Ravens in the top lane. He's gonna get counterpicked no matter what. So they may just end up banning out these junglers, trying to ban out AD junglers that would pair well with the Orianna. I will say I kind of like the Blitzcrank for Ice Cream. We're trying to get Kuch ahead as much as we can, right? So picking a Blitzcrank, maybe we can get a volatile early lane. Maybe we can pick off some of these more mobile bot lane picks like these enchanters and get Kuch a couple of early kills going into mid game.
Absolutely, we are going to see looks like maybe an incorrect pick. Wukong not able to pick because of the fearless draft that we have going on currently. Looks like Udyr is going to be the pick for instead of that Wukong on the side of TMG. We do have what again is not Jax, as Jax is going to be again picked already from the side of Fearless. We'll see what that pick is supposed to be.
There you go. Udyr, an interesting one, kind of a flex. We've seen it top lane. It can go to the jungle as well, as we're still waiting to see what these picks are from the side of Excessive Sloth. We'll see, is the R5 saved for top lane? Oh, that is an MF. Interesting, and an Ornn for Team GD and a
Cho'Gath.
Wow.
Wow, so it looks like we are going to see a quirky mid. We're going to go back to an MF bot lane. We are going to have, Curse of the Sad Mummy Bullet Time, the traditional combo here we see with MF and Amumu. It'll be very, very interesting. Wow, this is going to be kind of a crazy draft. Something a little more traditional from the side of TMG. You have a hyper carry scaling bot lane with a very paired enchanter. You have a tank top side, gives you a little extra scaling with those Ornn items, those ornaments as you get going later in the game. And then we do again have what realistically is a fairly good skirmishing 2v2, with FYS and Homura on the side of that Udyr Orianna.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're taking this old school. I think the most recently released champion I see in this lobby is Ornn.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the thought, and I like some of the individual picks on the side of Excessive Sloth here, but I think as much as I would love to see Cho'Gath win a game here and Blitzcrank win a game here, I think for me personally, this draft is going to be super one-sided on the side of TMG.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's all going to come down to executions. The first two games have. Here we go, hopping in to game 3. Excessive Sloths versus TMG Death Knights battling it out for supremacy in Group A. And we are on to the Rift.
Absolutely. We did see Excessive Sloths kind of coming out here doing what TMG did the last couple of games and really kind of forcing that 5-man, skirting what vision they can. You got to imagine, just like TMG, putting some vision down and then really just trying to avoid the potential for this early Blitzcrank hook here.
Yeah, good by TMG placing an early ward in the tri-brush and just backing off, actually moving entirely to their top side jungle. Gonna get swept out here. Ice Cream gonna move in as the Cho'Gath is back, heading up to the top side. They're still looking for this invade, though we may end up with actually a bit of a split map start. Homura invading the enemy blue. Actually, though, I think blue going back to his own red. That's hard to say, blue going back to his own red. This is going to end up a weird sort of jungle start where TMG is going to get the opposing blue side, but Amumu might not even know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. They don't have any vision. The downside of those giant 5-man invades is you leave the rest of the map open, and it gives TMG that opportunity to get in and get vision. So we'll see. It looks like Smokey Eye looking to get an early trade here on FYS, shredding that armor, getting something to really go on. Looks like we do have the first lane swap of the Vanquisher League that we have been talking about. We talked about this a lot in week 1 and week 2, and it's going to be the first time we've seen it. We are going to get that lane swap out, really pushing the Chaz back and kind of making it hard for him to play right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, if you're TMG Death Knights, I think you feel really great about this lane swap, right? You're trying to move this Kog'Maw Lulu out of the matchup where they can get Blitzcrank hooked, MF and Blitz so much damage in the early game, and Ornn's fine, man. He can walk up, he can take XP, he can level his W, become unstoppable, right? He's actually pretty good in these lane swap situations, as he's actually getting a little aggressive with the level 1 W. Ice Cream Q on cooldown, hits level 2, though Raven's going to have to back into the tower, but again, you're pretty happy with this for TMGD. You want Kog'Maw scaling up. You want him in a lane that's not volatile. You want him just abusing this Cho'Gath under the tower.
Absolutely, and something to think about is, Cho'Gath definitely takes a few items, a couple of points in R, a couple of stacks to get to that kind of tanky mid game. Ornn going to be a lot more effective on lower gold than Cho'Gath is, up until we get to the mid game. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they transition this. But great lane swap from the side of TMG here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well played from Blue here, though, on the Amumu actually, I think, has sort of spotted out, okay, I can't go to my own top side. I'm going to go to the enemy bot side. Maybe we can look to dive the Ornn on the next wave. Wave not stacked quite right for it, though, and Udyr is now in the area sort of defending against the dive. So Amumu going to take the Gromp, going to take the Blue, sort of steal away, but then he's going to end up kind of punished. He's left with no camps, and I don't really think there's a good dive setup.
Yeah, absolutely. The downside to having that vision and that, the Udyr starting where he did is, it's going to be a huge CS lead, and there's not really much for Moo to do but sit there. The Chaz looks like he might get, going to flash away, save himself from the solo kill from Mitsuki. Not a great start on the side of Excessive Sloth here.
Yeah, as you see, Blue actually also spending so much time in the bot lane. He was hovering looking for the dive. Smokey even started walking down to the bot side river, but they decide too risky. We're not going to go for it. We're just going to settle to sort of bully this Ornn off of some farm, take a couple of plates for ourselves. He's going to move to the bot side scuttle. And we're going to move to the top side scuttle. Jungle camps actually end up sort of even after all of this. Is a trade in the mid lane. Smokey out of mana, but FYS stunned up by Blue. Mumu going in. Flash out, flash in. Second bandage toss. Going to find him. Smokey has flashed out already, though. Oh, Valk back over the wall. Hamura, no flash of his own to find him. He's going to run in. He may actually end up falling to the Amumu now, too. Bandage toss back off cooldown. Hamura stunned up. Oh, 2 kills to Excessive Sloth. Kited him out in this early skirmish.
Yeah, absolutely. That is that is not how you want to see it. TMG really having the beginning of the game going very, very well for them, and now they're at just over a 1K deficit. It's going to be interesting what they can do here to kind of try and fight this back. Unfortunately, this Ornn taking some big, heavy trades here in the bot side, too. Going to have to recall and use that TP to get back. The Chaz still having a really tough time into this Kog'Maw Lulu. Not able to do much.
Yeah, that's a painful one. I mean, a good trade from FYS to sort of start that. Both mid laners playing towards their jungler, right? Sort of kiting to opposite sides of the lane, but FYS doesn't flash the first bandage toss, and so ends up getting stunned by both of them as Chaz taking so much damage from the Kog'Maw Lulu. Oh, he's gonna fall to the picks. Mitsuki picks up a kill. That's so punishing. His TP's down. He's gonna lose 2 waves plus a cannon. Crushing Rock gonna get some plates. Actually took Demolish in this lane. Knew they were gonna lane swap maybe. Trying to get some plates. This Cho'Gath is way far behind.
Yeah, and I love what they're doing with Hamura here, knowing you have such domination on this top side, knowing that you can keep the split map going and continue to kind of take camps away from this Blue. But shout out to Blue, doing a great job trying to take, he took some of those CS from the mid wave when he got those kills, able to try to keep up as best possible. Now they're going to go ahead and look at this drag.
Yeah, the great early skirmish from Excessive Sloth with the mid jungle 2v2 was really great, but I'm looking at this top lane. Night Raven's up so much in the lane swap. TMG clearly so prepared on this lane swap, came into the game expecting it, trying to do it, and it's worked out so far for their top laner. However, Excessive Sloth, I think because of that mid prio, because they are the ones pushing in on the bot lane in this lane swap, they're going to get the first dragon.
Absolutely great thing here on the side of Excessive Sloth. You know that you're going to have some scaling problems as the game goes on, especially with Kog'Maw, Lulu, Orianna, Ornn. In those moments, I really like to see teams when they try to stack those dragons, get some of that additional stats that they can get towards their team, try to help with some of that scaling. Absolutely great. We do see Hamura on the top side. Go ahead and take those grubs. We're going to split the first set of objectives as Night Raven just kind of sits under tower and prepares to receive the next wave.
Yeah, for those who don't watch as much Pro League, this is kind of actually just how lane swaps work. The team with their duo lane in the bot side gets the dragon, team with the duo lane in the top side gets the grubs, as Blue trading excessively on Hamura here. Second bandage toss coming out. Hamura forced to run away as Ornn knocking him up onto the tower. Not much going to happen there. Hamura actually does get out by the skin of his teeth on the top side. A bit of a risky invade, looking for some deep vision. Blue chases him out of the jungle, not able to get the kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Love Blue here on the defense. I love the rotation, from Smokey out, just really making sure you can help defend those camps for Blue, allowing him to kind of keep tempo with Hamura. Unfortunately, the Chaz, level 4. I mean, he is so far behind. You know, Mitsuki is a support here, able to keep him at bay by yourself. You know, at least Night Raven here able to kind of good sidestep on the rocket grab. Huge. But Night Raven level 7. I mean, this is a huge discrepancy. He's up 21 CS on the Chaz. And if you're the Chaz, what do? There's not a lot here.
Nothing. I mean, you got Dove, you missed like a double stacked cannon wave. He can't even hit level 6, so important on Cho'Gath. Then he's gonna get Dove again. His TP's down. Oh, it's so bad for him. Homura coming in, stunning him up, tanks 3 tower shots, so he's got so many shields. Crushing Rock with the ultimate. Mitsuki lives too with the heal. Oh, the Chaz, it's so doomed. It's just so doomed for him.
Absolutely. This is nigh unplayable, like you said, you know, not even able to hit level 6. Still level 4.
Level 4. It's
you know,
almost 8.5 minutes.
It's hard to want to talk about the good things that Excessive Sloth is doing because of just how bad this top lane is going. You know, Crushing Rock staying and getting this 4th plate. I mean, you know, we want to talk about Smokey, yeah, we want to talk about Kush, you know, starting to scale and get these things, but the Chaz is just so far behind that it's hard to want to talk about those things. We do have, looks like Blitz is kind of trying to sneak around here, see if he can get something happening. Couple of flashes
traded. Yeah, Kog'Maw gonna escape. Gonna be pretty okay with that, honestly. I mean, you don't like losing the flash, but Ice Cream has to come up and bail the Chaz out of this horrific matchup he's got going on. And you gotta kind of just chalk this up to like draft and planning diff from TMGD, right? Knowing they're gonna say, hey, look, we're going in this game, we're going to lane swap. Let's pick Ornn, a great champion of the lane swap. He can 1v2 so effectively. They've got the Cho'Gath that's so punished by not getting the levels in XP, knowing exactly how to play out the lane swap, true diving him consistently on repeat, just making this Cho'Gath's life a misery. They're not up a lot of gold, but they're up a lot of experience. They may get the first tower at some point soon. Sort of pushed in on the top side now by the Blitzcrank roam up 1v1 lane in the bot lane, Misfortune versus Ornn, but TMGD playing this lane swap out so well.
Absolutely, and like look at that, Ornn able to get a plate on the bot side, just getting so much more value. You know, the Chaz still not level 6. You know, like you said, the Blitzcrank are going to have to come top side and kind of bail him out. Which again, from Excessive Sloths, great job recognizing this. You've got to stem the bleeding before the Chaz literally is unable to play this game at all.
He already is, man. It's 10 minutes. It's level 5. He's recalling again. I mean, he has the Unleashed teleport, at least this time. Gets Unleashed teleport before he gets access to his ultimate. But, like, Cho'Gath is so reliant on hitting 6 early and getting those stacks up, right? He's going to be so underpowered, even moving into the mid game. See, Ice Cream Hex Flash in. A lot of move speed. We'll see if he can land a hook up here. Seems not so far to get anything. Rocket Grab. Not sure if it's come out yet. It's Blue flashing in. Oh, bandaged off with the stun up Curse of the Sad Mummy. So much damage. They blow up Mitsuki. 2 TPs coming in. Homura now sort of locked up. Stun up in here. Great shockwave coming in. We got a fight on the bot side. Night Raven's going to fall to Kush. But Excessive Sloth winning the top lane fight. FYS kiting back on the... Oriana gets a little kill there. Kog'Maw passive almost blows up Blue. FYS forced to push this wave out. Chaos all around the map.
Absolutely. That was a huge combination of static fair. I mean, just the damage coming out from Blitzcrank and Amumu, this early AP damage doing a ton of work there. You know, realistically, great work. We're going to get a quick replay here of this bot side fight as Kush able to kite out Night Raven. Ooh, wow. Great flash. Great timing there. Let's see. He's going to get the bullet time off here. Oh, the barrier.
What a barrier play. Blows the flash too. Just an outplay on the bot side from Kush. Really well done. While his team is winning a topside fight, right? Blue flashing in, getting the Curse of the Sad Mummy on the 2. FYS tried his best to sort of clean it up, landed a good shockwave towards the end there, cleaned up a kill or 2, but a really nice couple of fights for Excessive Sloth. TMG now actually going to get that second set of grubs. They're going to get all 6. As Blue down on the bot side, they're trying to catch Night Ravens out again. He's got no flash. He's got no TP. He's got no ulti. He's stunned up. That's 4 members. This is punishment for going up so far in the lane swap. Night Ravens down. First tower down for TMGD, but Dragon over to Excessive Sloth.
Absolutely. Rotating the Chaz down there, overloading that bot side, recognizing we're going to give top up. We're going to take bot. We're going to get a stack, a kill, and the Dragon. from the side of Excessive Sloths. I appreciate them trying to get, recognizing like we're going to have Chaz in this game. He's going to have to be this front line. He's going to have to help us with the silence and these knockups to allow bullet time to be effective, and recognizing that they've got to invest in getting him back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. To see the Tier 1 falls for TMGD. Excuse me, my connection a little bit shaky, but I should be back here. Grouping around the mid lane, clearing out this bot scuttle.
Absolutely. I think this is a great response from the side of Excessive Sloths, kind of getting everybody rotating around the map, get these objectives cleaned up. They do have the first 2 dragons setting themselves up for Soul Point. And then, again, the big thing for me is seeing the Chaz able to get a little bit back into this game, getting a non-minion stack, helping get that extra tower gold, getting that kill gold. It's going to be in a much better position. I'd love to see if we can see what the gold differential is here on this top side between Ornn and Cho'Gath. I'd love to see where we're sitting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that even after all this lane swap, we've come out completely even in gold, right? Dragon stacking on one side, grub stacking on the other. Feats of strength hasn't gone either way, as the objectives just haven't come through yet. But XP differential is what I'm looking at. This XP lead in the top lane, still quite substantial. Only 1 effective level right now. Might be actually kind of close to 2 levels. Kind of hard to see if we can't see the XP bars. But the gold lead has evened out. So well played from Excessive Sloth to sort of come back from what looked like a really early just draft deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the very great game plan executed. But now we're going to have to see, can they navigate through this mid game where MF is going to be, extremely powerful, finishing that collector, going towards the second lethality item, these mid game vision controls, realizing that Blitzcrank could be around every corner, being able to spot them out and then controlling vision. I do want to give a good shout out to TMG. They have great vision control on the spot side, being able to see where everybody's at. That's going to be a huge key for them as they look towards objectives in the next couple of minutes.
As we see, Ornn actually about a level and a half, not quite a full 2, but effectively 2 at a lot of points in the game right now, 10-8 over the Chaz. But I think you're right, like, MF so strong on this timer, Amumu so strong on this timer. I think if you're Excessive Sloth, you might actually say, hey, I know our Cho'Gath is behind, but we want to fight now. Blitzcrank spikes early. MF really powerful on this collector, plus serrated Dirk spike. Corki getting closer to his 2-item spike. That's about where you're going to want to fight, sort of before the Kog'Maw comes online, but before the MF falls off.
No, absolutely. I think with the Corki on Triforce, you really want to go ahead and fight before this Orianna can finish stacking her item. Because once you do that, once you get that shield and that extra survivability, it's going to make that fight much more difficult. So I'm with you. I think Excessive Sloths must go ahead and push now and try to get a fight now while they have the advantage.
Yeah, and an interesting note, I'm not too well versed in Udyr jungle builds, but I can't imagine that Liandry's is normal.
So actually, Liandry's is there's kind of a Liandry's tank build that went around for quite a long time, which is Liandry's Swifties. Then you build into various tank items, Dead Man's Plate, Spirit Visage. So we'll see where they go from there. That this was a pretty popular build in the middle of last year.
Bit of a bush trap coming out from Excessive Sloth. They've got complete control of this topside rivers. They're going to move on to the Herald, but that's a TP coming in from FYS. Looks like TMG actually wants to contest this. Ornn coming down from the topside. They're going to say, hey, look, we want this Herald. We want the feats of strength to go over to us. Now, whoever secures this Rift Herald will get feats of strength, I believe. As Hamura running in unstoppable into the topside jungle, they have now taken control of the mid wave, taken control of the topside river. But the vision for Excessive Sloth still good. They have the Scuttle Crab, but yeah, look at that. Rift Herald gonna be started up. We'll see if Sloth can sort of retake this zone. Night Raven's on a flank. Here comes Call of the Forge God, the Ornn Horn, knocking up the MF. Night Raven's dashing back in the middle of the team. Oh, time over the top of the post for the Sand Mummy. It's so much damage. The Season 1 combo coming through. Blue flashing out on the side. Health bar so low. Blinking red on the side of TMGD. No one else fallen yet. Hamura coming back in, trying to secure the Rift Herald, but falls to Koosh. So much damage from the MF. Gotta watch out for the ball, but Blue Team is slaying the Rift Herald. Gotten the feats of strength. Look, some of the old League of Legends combos still work. Curse of the Bullet Time.
Absolutely. Great job by Blue here, recognizing, hey, I've got to peel this off. And as soon as the Ornn dashes, Bullet Time, you got to love Koosh preemptively firing that Bullet Time, knowing what's going to happen there with Blue. huge amount of damage. And then that shockwave, huge catch. Almost, that shockwave really does kind of prevent Sloths from winning the fight right then and there.
It looked like the shockwave was gonna whiff actually, but they were just caught sort of just on the edge of it, pulling in smoke, and then flashed out of it at the end there. But so much damage from Kush. He is so far ahead now. 3 kills, picked up the Yomas as well. So we're fighting on the bot side. Mitsuki a bit caught out. Blue with second bandage toss. Gonna miss Mitsuki. Oh, so much damage from the love taps. Kush sitting pretty still as his flash. He's just gonna walk it out. Whoa, Orin hooked into the backside. Homura a bit caught out, taking the love taps. Bandage toss catches him in the middle of the waves. Blue is a sniper on the Amumu.
Absolutely. I was going to say, key things to think out for is that Coast to the Side Mummy and Bullet Time were off cooldown, but they didn't even need him. Mitsuki caught out. Homura tries to capitalize on the positioning of Kush, but Yomu's Ghostblade able to get him out just fast enough, and then he himself gets caught, and we move on to Soul Point for the side of Excessive Sloths.
Yeah, this is a strong early lead. They got the feats of strength as well from that Rift Herald. They get this dragon. They've already claimed the mid tier 1 and bot tier 1 Kush. So much gold. Blue, so much gold, and they're playing these team fights so well. They're playing with absolutely no fear, executing their combos, targeting the same members. It's really well played, coming back from what looked like an early deficit in the lane swap. They were caught unawares in the early game, but they're playing around their strong mid-game team fighting and getting just objective after objective.
Yeah, absolutely. Big things being here. Kush and Blue, this combination that they have right now, both of them ahead. Kush, huge, working on that third item right now. Doesn't have to worry about boots at the moment. The great MF passive, getting that move speed. It's going to be very extensive. I think this is really something where, they're going to have to use more disengage options, right? Maybe a shockwave to disengage while Blue comes in an ultimate, or the Orin ultimate as a more defensive item. It's going to be very interesting because they've got to either lock on and blow up this MF or not get 4 and 5 man Amumu ulted. It's going to be the key.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think something we saw in the last fight is Chaz trying to escape the bot lane here. We'll have to hold on to that thought, see if the Udyr can catch up to this Shogath. Yeah, silences him. Ooh, pulls him back into the shockwave. Chaz looking a little bit dead. Gonna see if he can get enough damage onto the Orianna to chomp her down. Nope, uses the chomp. Not gonna get a kill. The Chaz falls to FYS in the bot lane. Good catch. Brings a little bit of gold back into the side of TMG, but not really gonna matter. No objectives up yet. But as I was trying to say, I think in that last team fight around the Herald, we saw Night Ravens come in, call the Forge God on the flank, which I really like, but he used it on the back line, sort of his Jax gameplay shining through. Is we're gonna have to hold on to that thought as well. Voracious Icon falling down really quickly, down to 6k HP. TMGD is way too late to the play. Night Ravens in here, silenced up, but the blue team is slanted already. They got that false life. They're okay to keep fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, the Call of Forge God missing there. Great knockup by Blitzcrank. And unfortunately, not much else you can do. I think knowing that you have Bullet Time and the Mummy up, there's not really a place for you to engage there, I think it's a great decision here. You see everybody overload the bot side to take out the Chads and just say, okay, that's fine. You guys can have him. We'll take Otacon instead.
Yeah, taking advantage of those strong cross-map plays. I said we already have everyone on the top side. We're going to take this Voracious Otacon. Now, this is the false life buff. They will have it for the next, I believe, about 2.5 minutes. This is Blue sunning him up with the bandage toss out here in the jungle. Getting knocked up, though. May have to, withdraw that false life claimed. He's going to be back up in about 15 seconds thanks to this patch. But that is a mid lane. Ooh, not quite going to extend for the tier 2. They could have done it with the false life, but pushed back off the tier 2. Maybe saving this false life buff for, see if they can use it to get priority over the next dragon, perhaps?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, a little bit of mispositioning there by Blue, but like you said, the false life, not super punishing. Smokey, still kind of on the top side, just able to put some damage down. Night Raven coming to answer, but, huge. I wonder if he's going to be able to get this tower. Looks like he may go to force it. He is going to force it.
Yeah, that's
and he is going to get it. Holy cow, yeah, just a lot of damage. And unfortunately, like I said, that rotation mid cost them even dearly. Excessive Sloths up to a 3k gold lead currently. With that Rift Herald currently charging mid. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. Looks like they're just going to look to take that final tower in the mid lane. Oh, one more auto would have saved that Herald. Unfortunate. Looks like it's not going to get that second crash. A little bit of a whiff there, but looks like they're going to look at this Death Bush and see if they can catch out any unsuspecting members.
Another classic sort of early League of Legends strat. We got a Blitzcrank Death Bush. We got the Curse of the Sad Bullet Time. They're really pulling out all the sort of Season 1 moves on TMGD here. Sort of just waiting in this jungle now. They may have to circle back and try to get mid-prow before this dragon spawns up in about a minute. It is sole point for the side of Excessive Sloth, who are completely unspotted still. They're going to come around the back here. They've cut this team fight off. Chaz flashing and not quite going to find a call. The Forge God onto a couple. Ice-Cream Blue actually caught out on the backside. Shut down with the Cogmoth. Night Raven's not having to flash out. Udyr running around, not going to get quite enough done. Shockwave deters the rest of Excessive Sloth for now. TMG going to push up, actually finds a kill onto the jungler. This might mean Dragon for TMG.
Yeah, I really don't like that Blue kind of going off to the backline by himself. You know, Kush being pinned off by this Ornn. Unfortunately, I think you either have to retreat completely and go back to defend your mid wave, or you have to have a little more patience to see if somebody checks. Unfortunately, just a poorly executed engage on the side of Excessive Sloths.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind the idea of a flank, but I think splitting up the fight is not in your best interest when you're trying to hit wombo combos. But here we got a rocket grab onto the Ornn. Ornn's not the guy you want to hook, though. Coming in, Silence. He's big with the wild growth. Bullet time coming to the top. A lot of damage. Not quite able to collect anyone, though. Night Raven's just going to walk it out on the Ornn. He is really hit his scaling. He is so tanky. Ice Cream slowed up. Airborne knocked up. Unstoppable. Ornn crushing rock on a killing spree now on the Kog'Maw. They're going to look to turn to this dragon. Blue is back up and has arrived. But the Blitzcrank down. The Cho'Gath down. They might not have a way to get into this fight.
Yeah, the Samumu back up. It's going to be very interesting. Think about Kush here. Ooh, the shockwave is huge!
Oh, what a play from FYS. Catches Kush out unawares, flashes out of it, still gets caught. The dragon is going to go to TMG. We're going to see if Blue can steal it. Spotted out on a blue trinket. Going to look for the steal. It would be Soul for Excessive Sloth, but Mitski pushing him out on the Lulu. Such a good fight from TMG. FYS putting in the work, crushing rock, pulling out the DPS, and Night Ravens pulling it together with a great tank performance on Ornn.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, just not having any vision there on the side of Excessive Sloths. Kush is stepping too far forward, not seeing them all kind of set up in that bush there, and just essentially getting one shot. Absolutely killer. You know, just unfortunate here. We're going to get a replay. Looks like, yeah, we'll watch this middle fight here initially. Unfortunately, like you said, pulling the Ornn not going to be great. And just a huge amount of CC. The bullet time looks great initially, but everybody able to kind of kite out, you know, that Lulu ultimate on the Ornn, able to keep him alive. And then Corki kind of off to the side, not able to do a ton of damage here.
Yeah, that's a bit of the issue for Excessive Sloths. The Smokey can't really get anything done. It would be nice if the bullet time split Corki on the same side as the Ornn, and maybe he could clean up the kill, but Ornn was just 1v1ing a Blitzcrank on the other side of the MF ult. The MF ult just sort of splits the fight, doesn't really matter. I want to see how Kush gets caught here.
Yeah,
FYS
no
out
respect.
of vision with the pink, gets in there. Shockwave finds him, flashes out with the autos already on the way. And I do want to say, Crushing Rock silently has scaled up in this game. I believe 5, 1, and 3 on the Cogmaw. Just hit that 3-item power spike. You got to start getting worried if you're Excessive Sloth. Are you getting outscaled?
Absolutely. No, I think so. I mean, that fight is kind of, that mid fight is kind of a great example of what's happening. And I think, you know, if you're Excessive Sloths, you know, your execution has got to be much better if you expect to win this game. I mean, if you can get and layer your CC in the correct ways, or get a key pick here with the Blitzcrank, you still have a chance. You guys are still good. You're at soul point. You have options. But every fight that doesn't go your way just continues and continues. You know, at this point, if you lose another fight, I don't think you're going to be able to come back.
Yeah, I agree. It's all going to come down to correct target selection from Excessive Sloth. Not even correct target selection, just unified target selection, right? As long as they're all hitting the same target. Blitzcrank, hook, Curse of the Sad Mummy, bullet time. You want them all hitting the same thing, as they're going to look to maybe find a pick on the Ornn. Bandage Toss going to follow him up, stunned up. Curse of the Sad Mummy coming down. He's airborne. He is falling fast, stunned. That's a great pick on the Night Ravens. Baron is up, and Excessive Sloth might turn right to it.
Absolutely. You know, the chat still on the bot side does have TP up if needed. You know, big things to keep out here is Curse of the Sad Mummy is down. We have Blitzcrank ultimate down. You know, and it looks like this ward is still spotted out by the control ward, not going to be seen. You know, they are on full vision. I'm not sure. You know, looks like, ooh, the Chaz is going to get in here at this TP. FYS. Kind of have him pinned on the side. Looks like they're just going to abandon the Baron and look for the fight here.
Really well played so far from TMG. Actually pushes them off of the Baron. Ice Cream flashes in, not able to find the rocket grab. Minsky flashes out as well. Great play from TMG Death Knights, getting Excessive Sloth off the Baron, saying, hey, you're too low to take this. We may have lost our top laner, but we are still quite strong. Homura, woo, flirting with danger there. Almost knocked up, but not quite. The Rupture not going to find him. Sort of running around on this Udyr. Finally has his second item, as Crushing Rock so threatening. Going to put out so much DPS onto the Chaz here. Rupture, again, not finding anyone. They're just going to siege down this mid-tier one.
Absolutely, with the Ornn, Night Raven being able to rejoin the fight, something to look at, though, is that the Chaz and Night Raven both on 2 items, both with boots, and actually, when you look at gold spent, the Chaz is a little up. I mean, he's got some additional items. He's got that Giant's Belt. When you look at total gold, he is actually up 2,000 gold. Holy cow. It looks like he has quite a bit of gold in his inventory currently. Kind of a far cry from how this game started.
Yeah, really come back from a tough early game. Well played to the Chaz, just like side laning consistently since then, saying, hey, I'm going to scale up, I'm going to farm up, I'm going to get myself back into this game. But both top laners actually down in XP compared to their mid laners who are dishing out so much damage. Actually have the lion's share of the gold in this game, and those mid laners and those bot laners, they are scaled up, they are ready. I think the next fight may end up sort of deciding this game. Good macro from TMG Death Knights here, putting FYS down in the bot, splitting him, getting the tier 1 tower, just putting in even more gold before they are forced to fight this next dragon in 30 seconds.
Well, absolutely. And if you're FYS, you want to do everything you can to try to hit level 16, get that extra power and your shockwave going into this fight. And, if you're Kush and Blue, you guys have to be absolutely linked up. Ooh, Call of the Forge God looking for something here mid.
Oh, they found Kush. Does flash out, but force the flash right before the fight even starts. You hooked in the Ornn. That might not go so well for you. Didn't work last time. Wild Growth brings him up. The Chaz falling quite low. Homura in there. Chaz forced to flash out. TPs are in. Shockwave finds him. The Cho'Gath falls. TMGD with another fight win. They're going to turn straight to the dragon. No soul for Excessive Sloth.
Absolutely. If you're Moo, and it looks like Moo and Kush are going to want to look here, seeing if they can find something. Smokey, getting that midway pushed in, giving us a little prio. Looks like got some good vision out, but they're going to look for it.
They still have the ultis. Curse of the Sad Mummy and the bullet time are up. We'll see if Blue can find a good engage, but well played to TMGD. They are not standing in a clump. They are not going to get AoE'd by this Blue going in. He's going to try to steal the dragon. He steals the Chemtech soul. Oh my god, they don't quite get the kill on the Udyr, but that is a huge smite secure from the hero in the jungle.
Absolutely. Got to go from something that was terrible to saving a little bit. The downside here is TMG able to run straight for this Baron. So it'll be interesting to see if Excessive Sloth can get them off of this. They are quite low, but with no jungler, we'll see what options they have. The Cho'Gath Eat going to be very huge here, but they're taking that Baron pretty quickly, so we'll see if they respond fast enough. Kush and Smokey just pushing mid here, ignoring this Baron fight altogether.
I think they're going to have to give it. They don't have the ultis to really contest this. Amumu down, bullet time down. They don't have consistent engage. Now Icy Kareem might actually be caught out as they're going to turn in. Kush in a bit of a sticky situation. Rupture finds a couple. That'll slow him down for now, but Homura so fast. Crushing Rock so fast. Icy Kareem going to slow himself here with the W. We'll see if they can escape out through the bot side river. Icy Kareem, maybe the sacrificial lamb. Gonna hook him in, gets the silence, not going to get much, just running away, trying to make it annoying, trying to live as long as he can. And Mumu is now back up, but the Blitzcrank falls.
Yeah, unfortunately, by giving up that Baron fight completely, they tried to push mid, see if they could get that final mid tower. Unfortunately, not able to. Just, it's great to have soul. It's going to be a lasting thing, but they're going to have to survive this Baron buff for the next 2.5 minutes here. Looks like
I guess the hope is that Chemtech Soul could help you outscale these Ornn items. This Blue, bandage toss back in. Actually, Curse the Sad Mummy. This stunned up Homura. Homura taking a lot of damage. Mild Growth brings him back up, though. He's so tanky. He's running in. This Mumu might be caught out. Oh, so much damage, but the Shockwave finds Blue. You're still up. Night Raven's now tanking it up. The bullet time doesn't affect him at all. Finds the Cogmore on the back there. Good bullet time from Kush, though. Night Raven's now forced to dash out. Kush taking solo FYS. So much damage in these team fights. TMGD is running the bot side of this map.
Absolutely, and with these Baron minions, look at mid now is just free to push in. FYS and these Baron minions, Ice Cream not going to be able to do much here, as FYS is just going to look to take this mid tower and push on with this Baron buff.
Yeah, gold's still fairly even in the game, which is kind of incredible, but even gold will, I think, favor TMGD, the heavily outscaling team comp here with Ornn and Cogmaw, the sort of hyper carry, get the ornaments coming through pretty soon. So I think the Excessive Sloth, we said it before, that it might be their last stand in the next team fight. They got the Chemtech Soul off a nice steal, though, may buy them a little time, but I can't imagine they have more than one team fight left in them.
Absolutely, and as we've seen every fight, this bullet time is so important. I mean, you can get a good bullet time, multiple members get good damage out. You can win the fight, absolutely, but that's getting harder and harder. You know, TMG doing a very good job of splitting their members up, not forcing the fights, you know, allowing them time to find the right engages without having to move. Night Raven looking caught out here. Looks like nobody on this side going to come answer. Going to be a clean kill and pick to the side of Excessive Sloths.
Yeah, that's 4v1. Nothing Orin can do. Not tanky enough for that one. Gets the Empowered Recall off there. Going to go try and match FYS on the spot side, see if they can prevent him from getting tower. Good pick, but no objectives up. Not really going to turn into much. That's a 6th the death for Night Ravens, but FYS pushing so much damage onto this tier 2 in the bot side. There are no overloading members onto the bot side of the map, but again, no objectives up. Just going to call it off. A bit of a lull state until the next Dragon, next Baron timer. Absolutely.
Baron being done in 13 seconds here. You know, I do like to see Kareem, you know, kind of pushing out, trying to get this vision. You know, Coach picking up Edge of Night. Going to be a huge item for him here. You know, trying to stop all of the extra damage coming in on him. You know, and then Humura, interesting items to see. You know, we've got this Bloodletter's Curse kind of able to come back out. It's kind of an item that's very popular in Arena and played quite often. We're going to see this built out here on Humura. Essentially a kind of a Black Cleaver AP item, which you don't see very often. You know, if you look at the Chaz, huge AP defenses kind of on his thing with Rookrin, as well as Unending Despair and Hall of Radiance. And Merc Tread. So, I mean, realistically, he's got a ton. Huge rocket grab here.
Oh, yeah, but he may actually be caught out. I don't think that's the person he wanted to hook in. He hooked him in, but he was surrounded by all members from TMG. As Hamura actually just going to run down Kush. Kush has the flash. Might have to use it, though. Stun up. Uses the barrier already. Call the Forge God coming in. Flashes it out of the way, but that's just not enough. You're going to fall to... Ooh, bullet time gets him at the end. But Kush will fall to Crushing Rock. That's 2 down on the side of Excessive Sloth. No objectives up yet, but first move to the objectives will 100% go to TMG.
Absolutely. If you're Kareem there, you kind of a little preemptively with that rocket grab. I think not realizing that Hamura was in that push, but also with Kush not realizing just how far away he was and unable to get any damage down.
Yeah, look at FYS. So strong here. I love this build on Orianna. Going right into this Rabadon's neck saying, nope, I don't need any more defensive items. Seraph's is enough. I am building full damage. That's a Leandris. That's a now upgraded Void Staff. Going to have the Rabadons in base, presumably, before heading out back onto the map for the Elder Dragon fight, if he's allowed to get a base off. Upgraded Ginzu's over to the Kog'Maw as well. They have well and truly outscaled. It's going to be an uphill battle for Excessive Sloth in this team fight.
Absolutely. If you're Excessive Sloth, you know, Ice Cream, you see him down there now. You've got to get some vision down. You've got to be able to see where everybody's at so that you can look for that engage. And again, as we've been saying, Kush and Blue have to be completely lined up. They have to be completely lined up. If they're not, this combo's not going to go off, and you are not going to beat Kog'Maw Lulu in the backline.
Yeah, but it's so hard. They've got first move. This is really good. They've got vision control of the river. Now, TMG is going to be forced to walk into Excessive Sloth, which is not where they want to be. They don't want to be face-checking into the Blitzcrank, into the Amumu. But we'll see if they can get it. They've started up the Elder now. Smoke just starting it up. Ooh, they've hooked in the Ornn. Knocked him up. Wild Growth coming in. Night Raven's living for so long. Call the Forge God coming in. Might just die before he gets the reactivate. It does. In fact, Blue in the backline, though, falling so low. That's 2 kills. Oh, my God. What a shockwave from FYS. All of Excessive Sloth is falling to this Orianna. Coming in so clutch. Kush forced to run for the hills. 4 down. Traded for 1 to the top lane. That's another kill. An ace going over to Crushing Rock. TMGD dominating him in this team fight. They have outscaled. They have outplayed after the lane swap in level 1. TMGD just out moving them around the map.
Absolutely. Such a massive shockwave coming in from FIS. Single-handedly winning that fight. Really a quick replay here. You know, look at this. It looks like a great spot. We're going to get a pick here. Call of the Forge God's got to come down. They're able to kill off Night Raven before he can get this Call of the Forge God. The fight looks great right here, right? We look good. We look very, very good. And then if you watch FYS, sees his moment, huge shockwave. Huge. Almost deletes 4 members of the team and then single-handedly turns that fight. And that is going to be TMG Death Knights taking down game number 3 and match number 3 of our Vanquisher League today.
Absolutely. TMG Death Knights gonna move up in the standings. I believe that takes them to what is that, 3-0 now for TMGD in the
3-0.
standings of Group A. A force to be reckoned with. FYS playing so well in all three of these games on the Oriana, finding agency in these team fights, not letting himself be caught by the Amumu, standing off to the side on the fights, finding great shockwave angles, just hiding the ball in plain sight. Really such clean gameplay and so well supported, right? Mitsuki on the Lulu putting up so much work, always protecting the Ornn when he gets hooked in. Hamura being such a nuisance on the Udyr, running through and stunning up everyone. Great team play from TMGD. And just a great plan from level 1, right? They were the ones who initiated the lane swap. They were the ones who put the Chaz so far behind in XP in those early levels. Just great game plan from TMGD.
Absolutely, and look at this too. FYS damage to turrets. His effectiveness in the side lane, able to continue to push that lead, gain those levels, gain that extra farm. I mean, if we have to give an MVP out, I think FYS is going to take this one. I think there was a great performance from the team as a whole, but FYS, great consistency throughout this series. Even in game 1, when the game didn't go their way, he still executed and he played well himself, right? And he didn't tilt. Game 2, immediately flipped that switch, played a totally different style, was able to execute and then be effective. And then game number 3, flipping again. And like you said, something to point out that you don't always see is his positioning was very well done, right? Never getting caught out, never being picked out randomly, able to kind of bide his time. Because I think you look at that last team fight, and it's very easy to want to use that shockwave much earlier than he did, right? But no, he waited, he bided his time, and found the perfect game-winning shockwave to end this game. So absolutely incredible. Shout out to FYS, and congratulations to TMG Death Knights on their victory.
Yeah, that's a huge highlight reel play. You're going to feel good about that one going into next week. FYS, as you said, playing so well, never getting caught on the side laning so effectively. But shout out to the rest of the team as well. This was a bit of a down game from Night Ravens, maybe not as used to playing tanks as he is to playing those bruisers and fighters, but game 1 and 2 solo killing the Chaz in the top lane, right? This was a solo lane gap in this series. Night Ravens playing so well, FYS playing so well. The rest of the team playing totally great and supporting them in these fights, but those are the star players of the series.
Absolutely. No, it was great to see that. And you always love to see, how games, game 1, they kind of get crushed on and able to save that mental, move forward, and pull out the victory in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go, a quick shout out. Do you want to be as comfy as I am? Wearing this Titan Esports merch, then you should head over to FOFesports.com/Titan and pick up your Titan 2025 merch. We got all kinds of stuff. There's hoodies, there's shirts, there's jackets, there's mugs, there's hats. I know you've got some stuff in the mail, Leslie. I got
next week.
Maybe I'll wear it next week. You'll see us both in some more Titan merch. But I think that's going to be it from us from the Titan Esports Vanquisher League. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Mojo Powell. That's Leslie. Have a good night.
Good night.